Hello. I'm still getting set
Hello?
up. I had a hot dog for dinner and I had it too close to 6, and so I didn't have enough time to set everything up because I was eating a hot dog. I'm sorry.
That's a bulk level excuse.
It is, but it's the truth. I would not lie to you. I had a hot dog and I couldn't set the stream up properly. I'm so sorry.
Damn.
But that's okay. We'll start in a minute.
Yeah, so we were just talking about our kind of amazement at the Walking Dead show. I don't know if the Walking Dead show is still going on. I don't know if the Walking Dead comic is still going on. But I do know that it has spin-offs going on because I was just delivered an ad for the Daryl Dixon show, subtitled Book of Carol, and I don't know what they're on now. This might be an alternate world or something. I just see Norman Reedus like flying a plane and blowing shit up in a castle.
Wow.
What?
Well,
That's cool.
I can't tell if it was a castle, but there was like brick and mortar. It's like the rock and stone structures that you would not see in the United States typically.
Yeah, this sure looks like something.
So
Looks like TV.
yeah, I don't know, cause like nobody talks about that anymore. Cause back before the era of Negan, I feel like adults liked to watch the Walking Dead show. That was a hot topic.
Fell off.
Maybe.
It's mid now.
Okay. I think everything should be set up now. Sorry for the slight delay, but who cares? Welcome to the 3rd episode, I can't believe it, of the awesomely named Sucks or Fucks card game television show.
Oh shit, I wrote sucks and fucks. Hang on.
No, yeah, it's or.
There we go.
It's or.
I think that was our initial wording.
Was Sucks and Fucks?
Yeah.
Maybe it was. Is no music intentional? No. You can't hear the music? I can see the levels. What do you mean? Turn your
There's
volumes
music playing.
up. Turn your volume up. Don't I have half a mind to time your ass out. I cannot hear it. I literally can't hear it. Okay, fine. I'll make it a little bit louder. Are you happy?
Yeah, you don't believe the volume things in OBS.
It's true.
Make that
The
shit go
volume
into the red.
things are all over the place. There you go. Okay. Anyway, welcome. Okay, too loud. All right. I'm gonna start. Heads will roll. Look, it's just some ambient music. I can't control the volume of the music like super well. I'm afraid it's gonna like ear blast us. But whatever. Anyway,
Oh, now it's hearable. It's
Yeah.
very quiet. Very quiet. Yeah, can hear it smile. It's perfect. It's hurting my ears.
this is going off to a great start. But that's
fucking
perfect.
strangle you people.
I feel
I'm
like
about to tan your hide.
this is a perfect introduction to this episode of Sucks and Fucks or Fucks. Sucks and Fucks or Sucks or Fucks. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't know if this will be entertaining. I tasked myself with trying to, similarly to last time, as I kindly asked Mira and Log to pull me magic cards that I could guess their power level. And I'm like, okay, that was fun. Let's do Yu-Gi-Oh! I sort of know that game. I'm not like super good at it. I don't even really play it currently, but I do know a decent amount about it. I keep my ear to the ground when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! News. So I'm like, all right, let's start looking up cards. It's extremely hard to find cards that fit this format well because 99% of all cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are these hyper-specific archetypal cards that are completely meaningless if you don't know what the 4 cards on the text box that are referencing. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I have tried to compile a list of cards that hopefully will not be super obvious and easy. Honestly, I feel like if anything, I may have leaned into it being too easy to deduce, but I have picked no archetypes, so that already knocks out like 90% of the cards in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right.
And the other thing that makes doing this kind of thing hard for Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is an eternal format. It is the same game, but they just keep making new cards, right? Like, so you don't even get, you know, vintage versus modern versus pioneer. No, you're just playing Yu-Gi-Oh! That's it. So I tried to pick cards that aren't like stupid, where it's like, well, this was good for 2 weeks in 2010 whenever the blah 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 fucking Sky Suckers format was going on, and now it's a piece of shit. So I tried to pick cards that are like pretty definitively good or bad. So we will see. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with the traditional sucks or fucks gameplay. And I have prepared a supplementary game, which will be revealed later. So if the card guessing section of this episode sucks, at least I have a backup plan for something that I'm pretty sure will be funny. So
I do have a question. Are we only going to be seeing post-errata versions of the cards? Because I know when Yu-Gi-Oh! Reprints and errata's cards, they just like change the fucking card.
I believe the cards I picked, none of them have been errated. I did think about doing that and just bullshitting you and being like, yeah, this card sucks because they changed what it did. But I honestly, I decided to not do that because it is just completely unfair. It is completely unfair. So I will say, none of the cards that you will be guessing they have not received functional erratas. Maybe some of them have had their text changed to be like more easy to understand at some point, but none of them are good or bad due to erratas.
It's too bad though, because without the archetypes, you miss out on like so many stupid ideas. Like, who's in charge of coming up with like an archetype? Like,
Konami.
do you think they have like a group of people that like somebody comes in and says, all right, you get to do this one, you get to do one this season, you get to do one this season, and like you get picked for like the basketball team, and then like the guy is so excited to make an archetype, and he gets up there and he says, I'm gonna make a Gungan sushi ship, and everybody just puts their
I was
their
thinking
face
of the
in their
same
hands.
exact archetype.
Right. Okay, so that's going to be the other thing going into this episode that makes me worried that it may not actually be that fun for you guys, is that I think you guys know more about Yu-Gi-Oh! Than I know about Magic. So there might be like a discrepancy in terms of I'm pretty green when it comes to Magic. Like, I really don't know the history and stuff. You might know a little bit more, and it's also like double unfair because I'm just gonna have you two both be a team. Like, you have to come to you guys have to work together to come to a consensus on what you think the card is.
For me.
So the cards are stacked against me. You might just breeze through all of these and just get them right immediately, and this part sucks. But like I said, you're not gonna want to miss it because I think my supplementary material will be fun, no matter what. So we have that as backup. Anyway,
Right on.
let's jump on in. Oh, I have to reset the scores.
Do we get a Discord stream or anything, or are we
Oopsie.
just looking at the Twitch feed?
Oh, doing? No, don't look at the Twitch feed because there's chat there. You guys cannot view chat.
You're right.
Also.
You're right.
So let me I was just gonna post the cards in the Discord channel where you guys were posting the cards. Does that work?
Right.
And I will put up a side stream for whenever we do the supplementary material because that will be more important for that. But
Yup.
okay,
Yeah, just put it in general. Whatever.
let's start off with this card, and I will put it on here. Well, give me one moment.
We should have to introduce ourselves and
Oh, yeah, you know what?
explain our backgrounds in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's start with that. I actually forgot how this format works. How much do you guys know about Yu-Gi-Oh going into this?
Well, I played Master Duel for about a month when it came out.
Yup.
And I saw the original series.
All right.
And that's kind of how it goes. I feel like I just kind of pick up on things by I'm like a baby that's just like sitting in a bilingual household in some ways, because I'm just like sitting here with my magic cards, and then I see something about, oh, the Fiendsmith is broken, and that's just that's added to my library of knowledge.
Makes sense. Understandable.
Yup.
What about you, Mira?
I played Master Duel for like a month. When I was a kid, I printed out pictures of Slifer the Sky Dragon and Ra the Sun God or whatever the fuck. I just printed them out and then glued them to normal cards.
Hell
nobody
yeah.
would notice. That shit was the... I remember playing casual games with kids in Florida. I think I had some kind of like dragon-themed graveyard recursion deck, but I couldn't remember any of the pieces in it. And it was probably just kitchen table garbage, but it was fun.
Okay.
My favorite card is Crooked Cook.
Yeah, that's... That much I remember. I remember you were a Crooked Cook enjoyer.
That's the best Yu-Gi-Oh card they ever made. That thing is a prank.
Yeah, for the record, pretty much all of, not all, but a lot of people, a lot of our friends got into Yu-Gi-Oh momentarily when Master Duel came out, because it was a pretty legitimately decent way to finally like play Yu-Gi-Oh online, which didn't exist. But then it turns out that like everybody just kind of started playing like the gimmicky FTK decks, and like nobody really stuck with the game, including me. My background on Yu-Gi-Oh is I watched the anime and I played the cards wrong when I was, like 9, like everybody else. And then I like actually learned how to play around the Synchro era, and then moving into like the Xyz stuff. And then I fell off whenever Pendulums came out, because that was too confusing. And then I fell off until Master Duel came out. And then once Master Duel came out, I played for a while. And now I just kind of like am a casual observer of Yu-Gi-Oh, I'd say. I don't play it. So that already makes this segment fucking stupid, because I don't even play the game. But I know enough to explain the cards, and that's the important part, right? I don't have to be the best player. But anyway... Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No need. There's no need to be an expert on... I think, like, there's no need to be an expert on Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering. Because there's enough resources where you can have a degree in Yu-Gi-Oh! Without ever stepping foot in the card store.
True.
You'll just get it thrown at you.
Oh, Trevor is right. I did play Duel Links for a little bit, but that's like a different game. That is a different game that uses the same cards. But yeah, I did play Duel Links when that came out.
Who was your strongest champion? Did you play with Weevil?
I don't remember what I played. I think I played Gem Knights. I can't remember. Early Duel Links was really stupid. Okay, I have your first card. Here it is. Coming at you. Take a look.
Well, this looks pretty old.
Gonna take turns reading them, log. Well, what channel are we in? Hold up.
We're in Trog storage.
What the fuck? There's a Trog storage channel?
That's where you were posting the cards last time.
We were using it.
You were literally... it was in use.
I thought I was just looking at general chat. Okay.
No.
Okay, so
you read this first one.
Yeah, we have a rather dreadful sir in a dire state. Once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, draw cards until you have 4 cards in your hand. If you do, during your next standby phase after that, randomly discard the same number of cards you drew, or your entire hand if you did not have enough cards.
It's also a continuous spell, so this thing sits on the field like an enchantment, if I remember correctly.
Yep. The little
and then
infinity
the thing that's
symbol
there in the
means
text
that.
box is an active ability.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
So the standby phase is like the start of the turn, right?
Yeah. So
It's like
in
upkeep, right?
Magic, it's what? It's untap, upkeep, draw, right?
Yeah.
In Yu-Gi-Oh, it's draw, then standby, then main phase 1. So you draw first,
I
and
remember
then
this
it's
from Master
standby.
Duel. Yep. Okay. So on their upkeep, you draw 4. If you do, during your next standby phase, you randomly discard 4 cards. But like the graveyard's just a second hand.
It's until you have 4, not 4 cards.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, don't worry. I said I draw up to 4. Draw up to 4 cards in your hand, not like draw up to 4 cards. But yeah. I mean, sounds fucking good to me. Like,
So
the spells like you just put this down and it's done, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, reading the card
It's not like a trap
explains
where you
the
have to wait.
card. If it says that you have to
Yeah.
do something, you have to do something. But otherwise, there is no resource system in Yu-Gi-Oh.
So like my thinking is, first of all, the secondary zones in Yu-Gi-Oh are hands. The graveyard is a hand, the deck is a hand, the extra deck is a hand, and exile is a slightly more restricted hand, I feel like. So what? This gives you the chance, this gives you 4 looks at interaction on your enemy's turn, right? But you have to pitch 4 random cards. Ow! Fuck! I just tased myself with my electric lighter.
What? Jesus Christ,
Don't play
you
with that while you're
scared me.
talking.
Holy
yeah,
shit.
no smoking. This is serious.
Okay, what was I saying? It gives you 4 looks at interaction on your opponent's turn, but is that worth having this thing taking up space in your deck? I don't know. I feel like the only decks I see run card draw stuff is like gimmick OTK stuff.
Is the card limit... Well, I mean, most of the time they don't run card draw because all the good ones are banned.
I guess so, yeah. You do still see stuff like there's too many of those fucking pots. I don't remember their names, but they do all sorts of shit like exile 9 cards off the top of your deck, and then it's like a ponder or some shit. I don't know. There's a lot of those. Is this better than those? I don't know.
So, what I'm thinking is... So first things first, I think the pots, even if they're like weaker than Pot of Greed, they're probably better because you get the card on your turn.
Yeah.
Which lets you keep playing your turn. So this one, it's interesting because discarding the cards, that's good because the graveyard is a pretty good resource in Yu-Gi-Oh. Discarding randomly, I think, might be a bit worse. But also, whenever you're drawing cards that you are only going to have in your hand, like on your opponent's turn, you're primarily only going to get a benefit if you draw hand traps, right? And the amount of hand traps that are actually good aren't that high. Like Max C is good and Ash Blossom is good. I don't know if there are other ones that people want to use.
Right. I suppose I should also clarify that for the people that don't know, the TCG, the OCG, and Master Duel are they all have different ban lists, so all play slightly differently in Yu-Gi-Oh! I am going off of the TCG, so not Master Duel, not the OCG. It is the trading card game, which does have a slightly different, not too different, but a slightly different vibe than Master Duel. So just so you know. So
I think really what I'm thinking here is in terms of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! This is probably too weak because it only is really good if you go first. If you go second, then this effect just is kind of bad, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you play this and they've already set up their stuff, well, if you put this in your deck and you end up having this in your hand instead of something that actually stops them from doing things on their first turn, and then you're going second, they'll just set up their
Omni Negate,
their ultimate fairy master of all, whatever that shit was, like Virtual World. What was that shit? Virtual World, the one that everybody played in Master Duel.
Are you referring to King of All Calamities or whatever? I can't even.
Well, I don't know. It put a thing that looked like a Klonoa boss on the board, and then if you tried to play after that, you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I think that's a true King of All Calamities. VFD. Yeah, the very fun dragon.
But anyways, yeah, like if they have something like that, and like all the good decks want to do stuff like that, and then you try to like put this down here, like it's not going to do anything. They'll probably just even be able to stop you from drawing on their standby phase. And at that point also, like if they're already set up and you're using this thing that only activates on their turn, like you'll draw your cards and then they'll kill you because all you can draw is the hand traps that you should have had on the turn 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's the main problem with this is it's just a dead draw on turn 2.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like either it sucks for that reason or it's banned.
Well, that is Logmore. Congratulations, because that is the game that we're playing. You do have to pick one of those two. I mean, not literally banned, but you do have to pick one of the two options.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning on sucks.
Okay. Do you?
I'm also leaning towards sucks. Like it could dig for like a hand trap or something, but first of all, it already requires you to have dumped most of your hand, which I guess you're doing anyways, usually. Yeah, I don't think it's very good.
Okay, so you're both locking in sucks?
I think so.
All right, well, I've got news. This card is banned. You cannot play this card. And you brought up so many points that I'm glad, because like I said, I was afraid this was going to be too easy. Every point you guys brought up is why it's banned. So, number one, going first in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the best fucking thing in the game. There's nothing better in Yu-Gi-Oh! Than going first. This is a card that can't ever get unbanned, because if you're going first and you draw this card and you play it, you absolutely will win. Like, there's no fucking doubt in my mind that you will just win the game if you play this card going first.
The strength of this on the turn 1 play outweighs it being basically a dead draw.
It doesn't matter that this is a dead draw on turn 2, because it's so incredibly powerful, and specifically it's because hand traps are how you play modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I think whenever you guys were playing Master Duel, I think Mira, you even said that it's like, yeah, this is just like two blue players whose hands are just full of force of wills, just doing that at each other until both of you, or until one of you runs out of resources, right? So you go turn 1, you plop this sucker down whenever you feel fit, you go through your combo, and now the turn switches over, right? Okay. You get to draw up to 4 cards. Like, the likeliness of those 4 cards being hand traps are high, right? Because your combo has just chewed through a bunch of your engine. So you just have a bunch of non-engine left in your deck.
Right, I hadn't considered the Yu-Gi-Oh! Play pattern thinning the fuck out of your deck because everything is tutoring everything. I kind of forgot about that aspect.
I think what I was thinking of is, like, Magic plays for consistency a lot. Like, you will forgo, like, winning harder to more reliably, like, have, you know, like, lands to play and shit like that. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Is kind of the opposite, where they're kind of all in on getting the, like, best case scenario.
It's a very win-more game.
You get no mulligans anyway, so it's like, all right, fuck it. I'm building my deck to go first and draw Mirage of Nightmare.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, that, like, it's not that the good decks aren't consistent. It's just that I think, at least in this current point in Yu-Gi-Oh!, going first is so good that you can't afford to fuck it up, right? Like, you need unless you're specifically running a going second strategy, you need your turn 1 to be as powerful as possible to reduce any chance that your opponent gets to break your board, you know? And there are certain decks that do want to go second specifically, like as a counter strategy. But yeah, but basically going first, this card just shows you how like going first is so important that it doesn't even matter if you have to discard 4 cards because the game's over. I did my turn, you did your turn, you didn't break my board, I win the game. Like that, it's as simple as that. I stopped your turn 2 with my hand traps that I drew off of Mirage of Nightmare, and now I attack for lethal. GG, shake my hand.
Yeah, I guess the theory we could have applied here is that all right, this is some 90s art that says draws cards in the description.
Yeah, that's true.
Just say, okay, go ahead, it's banned.
Yeah,
I had that in the back of my head, but yeah, one thing that we were considering, or I was talking about at least, was like, you know, yeah, you can dump the cards, you know, into your graveyard. Maybe that's beneficial, but I forgot it's Yu-Gi-Oh. You already have your ideal board state on turn 1. You
usually,
don't give a fuck
yes.
what's in your hand on turn 2.
If
I forgot about that part.
If you go turn 1 and you have a bad hand, it's just kind of lights out for you. Usually, you kind of just have to hope your opponent also has a bad hand as well. But all right,
yeah.
So there we go. I'm glad. I legitimately, there was part of me that was thinking like, we're just gonna go through all these and they're gonna get every single one right. So I'm glad that the first one you got wrong, actually.
Hell yeah.
It's not that easy.
No, okay. I maybe, hey, and this is not to, I'm not trying to cast aspersions here, but perhaps I just simply overestimated the amount of information that you had about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to know about Mirage of Nightmare.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. To
Never
be fair,
heard of it.
I didn't know this either. I looked at the ban list and I was looking for cards I haven't heard of because they've probably just been banned for so long that, like, they've just never left the ban list, so nobody has ever played with them. And this is, like, one of them. It's pretty old, I'm pretty sure. Crazy card. All right. Whoop. Oh, this is going to be annoying. All these cards are different sizes. All right, here's your next one.
Oh, hang on. I got to read this one. Let's see. Damn, I was hoping for a creature so I'd get to look at the color at the top. Spellbound, spell card with a lightning bolt, and I believe that means it's a quick play spell.
It essentially
this is instant
means
speed, yes?
It is instant speed on your turn and is activatable as though it is a trap card on your opponent's turn. So you can't play it from your hand on your opponent's turn, but if you set it on your turn, then you can play it like it's a trap.
Okay. Huh. Wig. All face-up monsters your opponent currently controls cannot be attributed or used as material for a fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link summon until the end of this turn. Well, that kind of is the entire game.
But
I think.
That
There's
makes me think about the timing rules here. So, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters don't have, like, an enter the battlefield effect, typically, right? It's
usually just cast triggers, I feel like.
Well, it's... The timing rules in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are very complex, and I'm not even going to pretend to be anywhere close to an expert. It is... Okay. I can't explain too much without ruining other cards on the list. So is there a specific question you'd like me to answer? Because if I explain everything, it's going to ruin some of the other cards potentially.
Let me try and think of my things here.
Can your opponent sack stuff in response to this? To just, like, make it not anything?
I don't think you can do that, because you can't, like, summon...
Yes, I will say,
you can't add a summon to the chain.
A summon is not instant speed, and it doesn't matter if that is like I'm simply tribute summoning a monster. It doesn't matter if I'm like, oh, I want to like do a link summon. Those are more like sorcery speed in Magic. Like you have to have control of the board to be able to do that.
So say I'm playing like with my Orcus deck, and I move Orcus Doodoo from the graveyard to the banish field to the banish pile to add Orcus Doodah to my hand or whatever, or special summon Orcus Doodah from my deck. So they can respond to that effect by activating Spellbound, but that doesn't stop the special summon because first things first, like that's not like a tribute or anything, so like I can get the thing out, but it doesn't affect the thing that I'm bringing out from my deck, right? Like they don't have a point where they can activate this after the thing that I'm special summoning is already on the field.
That is correct. It does specify that it is all face-up monsters on your opponent that your opponent controls. So if they aren't face-up monsters, controls. Yeah, exactly. If they aren't face-up monsters when this card resolves, then they're not face-up monsters.
Yeah. So like what I'm thinking is, typically whenever I'm special summoning things, there's not like an interaction point where I special summon something to the field, and then I tribute that to a link monster. Like there's not a point in between those two things where they can say it's spellbound, is what I'm thinking. Unless there's like some rule where like where I put the thing I'm gonna like link summon or whatever out there. I say I'm gonna link summon this, and then you play Spellbound in response to that and say that I'm not allowed to tribute my shit or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's
I will say that was not allowed. What you just described.
It's just like in Magic. It's like you have to pay costs before you can put the thing on the stack.
Yeah, so I know how it works in Magic, but I always get confused by some of these interactions in Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think it's the
keep
same
this in
way
mind for later cards on the list if you
sacrifice
would
summons
like.
and stuff. I mean, this looks like if you flip it at the right time, you break their combo, but there's probably also just better shit that you could run.
Yeah, the thing that is like troublesome to me about it is that like there's a lot of points where you're only special summoning like one thing to the field and then immediately tributing it.
Mm-hmm.
Where there would be no interaction point to actually use Spellbound in a way that matters.
Yeah. That's my main caveat with it, is the fact that it says currently. Like, could you maybe get this in at just the right point where, all their other resources are exhausted and you brick the shit that's on their board right now and they can't, climb a certain chain in their combo? Sure. Is it going to happen every time? I don't know. I just don't know enough about the chains in this game.
Yeah. Pretty hard. Like being able to potentially like if you have good knowledge of how the opponent, like what the opponent's trying to do, then like you should be able to find the right spot where they're like in between, discarding their little fairies, like their umis or whatever they're called, and then
the
getting
what?
the very
umis?
That was the shit that they used to do. Is like they would have like a little fairy called like an Uma or an Umi or something, and they would keep
Umi
like throwing it away.
is a field card. I don't know what you're thinking of. That's a fairy.
I don't know. There was like a little baby looking thing that the virtual world guys would keep discarding.
I can't remember that, but I believe you.
But like, there's probably like just like this crucial point where they need to activate an effect on a XYZ monster and then tribute it to their actual thing that they're gonna win with. And at that point, like Spellbound would work really well.
What do you think? You must make a decision.
I'm stuck between it's a stacks piece, it's banned, and I don't know, it's too like hyper specific. I'm stuck between. It kind of feels like a worse dress down to me. That's a magic card, except this doesn't cantrip on the way out.
Well, I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh does have its own dress down.
Yeah.
And what is that card?
I don't mean it's exactly dress down. It's just kind of similar.
Dress down is like skill drain.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
Gotcha. Easy.
Yep.
But man, yeah, this is a pretty hard choice. I know that I never saw anybody play it, which could mean
Means
either
it's banned.
thing.
Now I did. Okay, I will also say I have
banned or it sucks.
specifically picked around the very small window I know that you know. So none of these cards you've probably seen before because I have specifically gone out of my way. Like I'm not gonna show you the cards from the like first 2 months of Master Duel being out because that would be too easy.
Sure, but I mean, it says 2020 on there. That's like pre-Master Duel, right? So it would have existed.
I'm gonna say if this is good, it's so good that it would have to be in literally every deck, and it would be a complete absolute staple, and that's the kind of thing that would get banned. So I'm gonna say it fucks.
It's another going first card, which isn't necessarily
Yu-Gi-Oh shit,
like
apparently.
a bad thing, and it's probably worse than a hand trap, but.
What's it gonna be?
It could be enough. I think it could be enough. Like especially against like the good fusion cards, this would be pretty good, I think, because you can respond to those spells by.
Now, my only problem with this, my only speculation that's making me not say fucks is it's listing a bunch of, it says they can't be tributed or used as material for a fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link summon. It doesn't mention anything about, like, pendulums, or maybe there's a bunch of other random bullshit that it doesn't cover.
I will say
it's very
that
possible
basically
they'll
Still
roll in it.
use other stuff.
It does. I will say just like because I can't expect you to know every single mechanic. It does not list pendulum summoning, but that's the only one. There is not another type of summon that is not those. Well, other than like obviously if a card just says special summon this card or whatever, then they can special summon, but they cannot. Like this covers almost every from the extra deck summon, basically.
Yeah, extra deck stuff and tributed. Does that also mean, like, if a card has an ability that wants it to sacrifice itself to do something to do that ability?
If
does
the
it
card
prevent
would
that as
say
well?
tribute specifically, Yu-Gi-Oh is very particular about the words. If the card says tribute, it's a tribute. If the card says something like send, that is not a tribute. So it has to be the word tribute.
I'm just gonna say it fucks.
What do you think, Log?
That
Consensus?
makes me think. That makes me think of another thing though, where like if you use this, you can't use Nibiru, but I think it's good enough. I think like if you're knowledgeable enough about how the meta works, you can just complicate things a lot with this. It's the same as like using Ash Blossom at the right time, I guess. Like outside of the ritual cards that let you ritual things in your hand, like I think this covers a lot of stuff and a lot of like good options. So I think it's good enough. It's just another like secure your going first win.
Okay, that's a consensus on you think the card fucks. We're locking in. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I can't really blame you for this one because you have fallen for the trap that the entire Yu-Gi-Oh community fell for with this card. This card does unfortunately suck. And that's not even really fair. It doesn't suck, but it's not played specifically because you actually had it right at first, Log, and you doubled back. You said that it was too narrow a window. And that's kind of why it didn't really see any play. This card was kind of hyped up before it came out to be like, oh, basically like everything you said, like, oh yeah, this is great. I flipped this on my opponent's turn. They can't do anything. But in actuality, it is like, for the game, it's honestly too narrow. It's too narrow. And the face up, it only affecting currently face up monsters is way more strict a restriction than you would think in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because generally speaking, you don't just have like one starter for your combo, right? Like you might have, 2 or 3 cards in your hand on your first turn that you could theoretically use to go into a combo. Maybe it's not the, maybe it's not the optimal combo, but you can, play a card. Like, let's say you play a card, it gets Ash Blossomed, right? Which for people at home is just a card that negates certain effects. That is extremely popular. It's like 3 of in every single deck of all time. So this is kind of just like a worse version of that in a way, because you can't play it from your hand. So it only works going first as well. So it's not even as good as a hand trap.
Yeah, right. I figured that, but yeah, I thought that. So my experience being that I only played Master Duel, I think it affects my judgment here, because you're right. Like, I know that if you're playing like meta shit and you get Ash Blossom, you're supposed to be able to like play around that typically, and you'll have like multiple routes based on what you have. But I played Master Duel, and I tried to play a deck that wasn't even like the best deck in Master Duel when it came out, and because the ban list was different, I had no idea how to like look up how to actually play the cards that I had. So I would like read shit on Reddit, and it was like poorly formatted run-on sentence shit, and it's like telling me to play cards that are banned in Master Duel, and I just have no recourse. So I just had to like invent my own pathway to get my one guy on the field, and I only knew one pathway, and if it got disrupted, I was done for. And that's how I envisioned the game. Yeah. From then on.
I mean, like I said, I really don't blame you. This was a hard one. I almost felt like this one was this one might be the hardest one, actually, because
this is
the one that tricked the entire Yu-Gi-Oh community. Not the entire, but like I said, people thought this card was going to be hot shit, but then whenever it comes out and people actually start playing with it, they realize like, oh yeah, this actually, it's just too narrow. It's just not useful enough.
Yeah, this is a cool thing to look at. I guess the thing that I should have thought about more is that, like, yeah, if you have Nibiru or like Kaijus or something, you can't use those and this at the same time.
It's also true.
And Nibiru is super good, so maybe that should have been the thing that made me decide that this is bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's like the reason why it's bad, but it's certainly a reason why you may not want to play it, because Nibiru, another hand trap, is very good. So, and the other thing that's also kind of unfair about asking you about this card is that there is another card in the game that was already out called Dimensional Barrier, which is a trap card that says, flip this, for the rest of the turn, neither player can special summon monsters of the declared type out of Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Pendulum. So there is kind of a card that already did something like it, but instead of, blanket disallowing all types of summoning, you had to pick one. But it didn't only affect cards on the field, and that was played. So that's part of the reason why people thought this was going to be good, is they thought it was going to be usable like that. But I think nobody realized that the face-up monster thing, like the currently controlled thing, is just too much of a stipulation. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one then. What do I have for you? Ooh, this is a fun one. Yeah, I want to do this one. Uh-oh. Hold on. I'm pulling her out.
Whoa.
No, it's okay. Not that.
I'll link my Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube video in your chat. Me playing Crooked Cook.
I didn't know you had a video of you playing Crooked Cook.
Yup. I played against specifically someone playing Danger, or whatever that fucking archetype's called. I put down Crooked Cook on my turn 1, took like a minute 30 seconds. They spent like 20 fucking minutes on their turn 1 navigating their combo, and at least 8 times they tried to smash things into Crooked Cook and just went like, oh, and it didn't work. And then I just wiped their board turn 2 and said, all right, check my hand.
Why is it so small?
Is it small? I tried to find the biggest versions of the cards that I could, but some of these cards are really old and like nobody has scanned a version, or maybe they just like haven't been reprinted in a long time. I can give you the text if you need it. This is luckily a very short card.
Yeah, this is your read log.
So
Snake Rain, discard 1 card, send 4 reptile monsters from your deck to the graveyard.
You said we weren't doing any archetypal stuff.
I mean, this
reptile is a type.
hardly
It's not an
archetypal.
archetype. It's different.
There's a lot of reptiles, and I can't name any of them, but there's a lot of reptiles.
All right, so you entomb 4 lizards.
You discard one. Well, you discard 1 lizard in your hand and then entomb 4 lizards.
Oh, okay. So you entomb 5 lizards. Yeah, sounds
So,
good.
yeah,
It's
that
basically
sounds-
a draw 5.
Yeah, that sounds like really strong. I don't
Are
know
there
any
good lizards?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any specific reptiles that have like good effects, but I think the game is old enough that there have to be good enough reptiles. Like, what's the limit on the number of cards of like number of copies of card in a deck? Is it 3?
You get 3, right? Yeah.
Yes, 3 cards per card. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like
3 max.
So like if I have a reptile that has like a graveyard effect or anything like that,
You can
so I use
the
this.
full playset.
I use this. I get the full playset in my graveyard, and also if they're like whatever the second best reptile with that effect is, I potentially get 2 of them in the graveyard. That's
I feel like most effects are once per turn, though.
I mean, now they are, but the true best of the best are not. But even then, like it doesn't require that you pick like all the same card too. You can just pick 4 different things that all have effects that you want, and then they could just be like, all right, reptile that's the first step, reptile that's the second step, reptile that's the third step, reptile that's the fourth step, and then like that's really good too. You can, and it even gives you like some options. Well, I don't remember the wording for all the graveyard cards, but it potentially gives you some options to just like get duplicates of a card that you want to like actually stick. So in case they counter a graveyard effect, you can use the second one. But it might. I know the way that the cards work in this game is that like it'll say cards with this name don't work anymore for the rest of the turn. But even then,
Yeah, that's what I meant by once per turn. That's like the super like, I don't even know what to call it. Like, you know when they round corners so babies don't hit their heads on them? It's like that, but in text.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It's like
think
the
Interesting
mechanics are
comparison.
baby-proofed.
Gotcha.
I think that like even if I don't know any like specific reptile cards, like this has to be good just because like it's too much selection for the type of game that Yu-Gi-Oh is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm completely in a toss-up between it's either good because there's good reptiles you can fetch with it, or it's shit because there's no good reptiles you could fetch with it. I don't know. No fucking idea, so I'll just go with whatever log says.
Like, the troublesome thing is that the only reptile card I can think of is not a main deck card. Like it's an extra deck card. But also, maybe that means that you need reptiles to summon it, so maybe that just makes it better.
If you put a gun to my head and told me to name a reptile in this game, I don't think I could do it.
Thus is the rub, is it not?
Well, all right. Well, is Predaplant verticonda a reptile? It has to be, right?
Oh, fuck if I know. That might be a plant. I don't know.
All right, I'll look it up. Predaplant verticonda. Let's look it up.
But I think like
Vertianaconda.
I think like it has to be good.
That's a plant.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's a plant.
They don't have dual types in this game? What
No,
the
that's
fuck?
not how the game works.
Nope.
Is dinosaur its own type?
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure.
Dinosaur is not a
This
reptile.
card sucks, dude. This card sucks, man. There's
gotta be a good reptile that makes this good. Like, there's too many cards in this game.
You
that
would need multiple
affect
good
like this.
reptiles. Yeah, it needs to be a reptile and it needs to have graveyard shit going on. What are the chances of both?
I mean, how old is this game? 25 years. There's got to be something.
They're printing like anime girls and sound effect men and like corn cobs with swords.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like
reptiles.
I mean, there's probably like hot sauce themed vipers or something.
That sounds cool.
But what if they're like food type rather than reptile?
Yeah, they're
type?
not. Sorry, those are food. They should add a food type. They should retrain Hungry Burger so that it's a food type card instead. That'd be sick.
Yeah, let's go. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Reprint Crooked.
They
Cook,
actually did recently make an archetype
card
that does like utilize hungry. Like they made a Hungry Burger archetype. It's a bunch of like demonic French chefs. It's actually pretty dope. It's not good, but it's cool.
All right. Konami director says it's my turn to make the archetype. I'm making Pepper Piper Rattle Banero, and it's gonna ruin your fucking life for 2 months. So I think that this has to be good. Like, if it's not good, it's just because they didn't make enough reptile cards that are actually playable.
If there are good reptile cards, then it's good, but I don't think there are, so I'm saying it sucks.
Oh, okay. Dissension.
So what
I
do
think
we do
that's
now?
fair. I mean, look, the score doesn't really matter. So I think it's fun if you want to both, you know, who's gonna be right, who's gonna be wrong. You ready to find out?
Yeah, I say it sucks.
Yeah, let's find out.
Well, all right, you're locked in, so you can't change your real answer. But would it change your answer now if I said that this card is from 2007? Does that change either one of your answers to know when it was printed? Just curious.
I mean, that's a good year. That's a premium year.
I will say that there's a very early year in Yu-Gi-Oh! This is a very old card. So does that... I'm just curious. Does that change either one of your answers?
Not mine.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, then I will say this card does, in fact, suck. There are no good reptiles in Yu-Gi-Oh! And this card is the reason they boxed themselves in by printing this fucking card in 2007. And now they can't make reptiles good, or else they'd have to ban it. And they refuse to do that.
Why?
I don't know. They literally, like, they have never made any reptile archetype that is good. And it's like, basically, people theorize that it is because this card, if reptiles were good, this card would have to be banned. Like, it's too good. This is a card, this is like, what do they call it? Like the Sharpie draft card. If you could change reptile to literally any other type that isn't reptile, this card would be ban worthy. Like, it has the one word on it that makes it shit, and it's because there are no good reptiles in the game.
And you were worried that we would get all these right.
I know, I'm sorry. I feel bad. I feel bad now.
Put my name on the board. Put my name on the board. I got one right.
I'll give you a 0.5.
Are we gonna know there's no good reptiles? I thought for sure that they would at least say that dinosaurs are reptiles, but dang.
I will say that was a tricky one.
They're finding ways to wiggle around it.
Maybe I was wrong. Here, I'll. How can I? Hold on. Here you go. Oh shit! That does both of them. Fuck! I can't do it that way. All right, hold on. I'll worry about the score later. You're both getting a 0.5 because I can't do it right now.
And that's crazy.
But keep score at home.
Even Predaplant Verta Anaconda isn't a reptile.
Nope, it's a plant.
It's got plant in the name, brother.
They should errata this to say that send 4 reptile monsters or monsters named Anaconda to the graveyard.
But yeah. No, yeah, Snake Rain is kind of like a known meme sort of card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of just how close it is to being the best card ever printed, but just narrowly misses the mark by supporting a type of monster that has no support, basically.
Yup.
So that's how it goes. That one is pretty unfair. It really is just, I mean, Mira nailed it on the head. If there are good reptiles, this is good. If there are not good reptiles, it is bad. All right.
Yup.
Got the next one for you here.
Hit me. Show me some pendulum shit. Give me a paragraph,
That's right,
brother.
Here we go. Here's some text for you.
I gotta zoom in on this bitch. Give me a sec. Oh,
yeah,
wow,
it might be
low
small. I tried. Like I said, I tried to find the biggest ones I could.
I
really did.
Too. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't envy the fucking people that have to scan these cards. They all look so bad.
Lavalval Chain. It's a fired guy. It's 4 stars, which means you have to tribute for this dude. Oh, it's also an Xyz, so it's in the fucking extra deck anyways. Yeah, okay. Yep. It's a sea serpent. Please take note if there's a sea serpent rain.
Not a reptile.
Very powerful.
It is a sea serpent.
And obviously it's an effect. You have to tribute 2 level 4 monsters for it. Means nothing to me. I don't know what part of the combo that comes in. Probably second or third, somewhere in there. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card to activate one of these effects.
Mira, you should know how Xyz monsters work. You said Crooked Cook is your favorite card.
Yeah, and you Xyz summon once.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I'm not doing all these chains and shit.
You should understand the mechanics.
I bring out Crooked Cook, and then it's APM live cam from then on out. I'm passing turn. I don't give a fuck. It's my opponent's game now. Anyways, you can attach 1 Xyz material from this card to activate one of these effects. Entomb, send 1 card from your deck to the graveyard, or choose 1 monster from your deck and place it on top of your deck. What is that? Like, is that Court of Calling, or does that go to your hand? I don't remember.
Court of Calling goes on the battlefield.
Oh, well, fuck me. Yeah,
I mean, this is just like the
put something on top.
It's just like the instant speed tutors.
Yeah.
It's like a worldly tutor.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, this looks really good. Like, level 4 monsters is like the easiest shit ever to do.
And then I think Crooked Cook off of this guy.
I think Crooked Cook uses level 4 monsters, doesn't it?
Fuck it, fine. It uses fish.
Because it's like right hand
fish with DSL, and then there's like
right
a
hand shark
from Pokemon.
Yeah, and buzzsaw fish or whatever. Those might be sea serpents too.
Buzzsaw shark is a fish, I think.
There's a difference.
Yeah, there is. There's fish and there's sea serpents. They're not the same type.
But either way, like, yeah, that's a really easy requirement for XYZ. So you can get that. So you can use this early in your turn to like set up, and its effect is like perfect for setting up because you put this on the field and then you get the next thing that you're wanting to play with in your graveyard. I don't know if there's anything that like cares about putting stuff on the top of your deck, but I guess if you're playing Exodia, I mean that's fun.
That's what I was gonna say as well. I feel like the second mode is very limp, just because like card draw is already super fucking rare in the game.
But yeah,
basically,
I mean, like,
it's the Entomb mode.
But yeah, like this just looks good. It's something that you can get out very easily with your early plays. Like you can even use your 1 normal summon per turn towards this, and then you get to set up your graveyard.
What year is this card from?
I'll tell you that after. I think that information is.
What the fuck?
This is a.
What do you mean?
Well,
what the fuck?
It should. This one, the year doesn't really affect the answer, I will say, but I can look it up for you. This card was first printed in 2012, so it's like it was not exactly contemporary, but.
But yeah, I think this fucks. It's like it's very generic and it like enables. Its requirements are easily reached by like basically every deck, and
it's a chain in the Xyz ladder. It's very easy to reach, like you're saying. But my thing is, all it does, it spends the Xyz material to get an Entomb. But my thinking is, there's probably better like Xyz chain steps than this at this point.
I don't know. I feel like no, because I feel like not, because this is probably like one of the first extra deck monsters you're gonna summon whenever you're comboing off, and like what other stuff exists in that part of the food chain? It's shit like
fucking
Link Karibo. I don't know.
Yeah, that one's
it's like a bunch of like little baby things that you will inevitably feed to your bigger monster. So
yeah,
I think it fits right in there as just like being a good generic enabler. So I think that it fucks.
All right.
It fits in, but I feel like the intent here is, oh look, it has 2 different tutors on it. Isn't that so strong? But it's actually going to be outclassed by some more recent thing in the Xyz combo chain, is my guess.
So what
or
are we
it's
thinking?
like fucking banned. I don't know.
Are we thinking? What are we? Let's get a. You know, you guys don't have to pick the same one. It's Calvin Ball rules, but
So
Log
I think
obviously
Fox-
thinks it's good. What do you think, Mira?
I feel like it's a trick.
You're bringing outside
with
meta
sucks.
information that I would try to trick you.
No. Even though I
have already tried to trick you multiple times.
Yeah, it's the fucking game. Come on.
Yeah, but at that
I
point,
don't
you're
know.
just gonna think everything's the opposite.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
all
after
I'm saying.
Snake Rain, to go for it again immediately after Snake
would be,
Rain, that's just purely uncouth.
Do you think I'd do that to you? You think I'd try to trick you
Unsportsmanlike.
twice in a row? All right, but hey,
I feel like either this thing is so good that it's banned or restricted or whatever else, or it's been outclassed by stuff, and I'm going to assume that it's been outclassed by stuff because like the second ability doesn't look very good to me. That seems completely limp. I feel like that's just filler text. It's basically just an entomb. You're getting an extra entomb in your extra deck combo, right? I feel like it's probably been outclassed by something at this point, is my guess. So I'm gonna go with sucks.
okay. So we have 1 for fucks, 1 for sucks. What's it gonna
split
be?
again.
We're split. The answer is this card does, in fact, fuck really hard and is banned.
Damn it.
Yeah,
I knew
I was gonna be pissed if somehow this was a bad card.
No, this one was like a mini trick because Mira did catch on to the fact that that second line of text doesn't need to be on the card, but she incorrectly guessed that it was a trick in the other direction. I thought, you know, that line of text could be removed and this card would still be banned. Sending a single
you can
card,
only pick one of these per turn anyway.
Sending a single card from your deck to the graveyard is an absurdly powerful effect in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's so innocuous, right? But every single card that does that is either banned or limited. Like any card that generically sends from the deck to the graveyard and has like no stipulation, because that's an important thing, is that it doesn't say monster.
Oh,
it doesn't
yeah,
say
that's true.
trap. It says card. It says card, and it says specifically once per turn, but it does not say once per turn, blah, blah, blah. You can only use the effect of Lavalval Chain.
Yep.
So that's...
Oh yeah,
so-
I didn't even think about that.
Exactly.
That means it contribute itself to make another one of itself too.
Well, it
Yep.
can't do
Yep.
that because you can't use an Xyz to summon another Xyz, but I will say 2 level 4 monsters is about the most favorable summoning conditions for an Xyz possible. Like,
Yeah, that's
unless
what
the
I'm
Xyz says summon myself for free and attach whatever you want to it, like this is optimal conditions for
Yeah, this lets you
this
get-
kind of card.
Right hand shark and buzzsaw shark.
Exactly.
Yeah, right there.
Exactly. So there's so much going for this card that makes it so good. The summoning conditions are piss easy. The soft once per turn allows you to summon multiple of them, or potentially it like somehow recycle them to use the effect multiple times a turn. And the sending a card from the deck to the graveyard is just like an amazing effect in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! It's so good. It's so good that in the very last ban list, there is another Xyz card that got banned that is a harder to summon version of this card, essentially. A card called Beatrice. Let me pull up the exact text because I can't remember it exactly. Hold on.
Lavalval Beatrice.
No. Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, just got banned. It is a rank 6 Xyz, so harder to bring out than a 4. And basically all it did was send a card from the deck to the graveyard. And it did some other shit with Burning Abyss cards, but nobody plays Burning Abyss anymore, so it was really just used to dump a card into the graveyard. So that's how good this card is cards that are worse than it are also banned. All right.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense now that I think about it. It's like, it's like, I don't know. It's like if Manamorphose had Demonic Tutor on it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, basically, this is just the real easy stuff. This is a Golgari Grave Troll.
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar with that one.
Golgari Grave Troll is
a little mechanic called Dredge.
Yeah, it is the Magic card with the highest Dredge value in the history of Magic, and is the only Dredge card that is banned because just being the one guy that has that Dredge value makes it broken.
When it's in your graveyard, you can choose to mill 6, I think it is.
Yeah, 6.
And resummon it,
and then
right?
you put Golgari. No, you don't resummon it. You just put it back in your hand.
Oh, you don't even get it.
Just for nothing. Just for it being in your graveyard. Instead of drawing a card at the start of your turn, you can choose to mill 6. And
anytime you draw a card. That's the kicker.
Anytime you draw. Never mind. Sorry, Dredge is stupider than I thought.
Yeah, that's what makes Dredge pop off is you do like a cathartic parting, and then you discard a fucking Golgari Thug, and instead of drawing 2 cards, you mill 8 and put 2 Narcomoebas on the field and fuck their wife.
Okay. Good to know. I won't get that. I won't let that happen to me. Here's your next card. Take a gander.
Good luck, Log.
All right. This one looks
remember this
pretty
guy from the
old
cartoon.
school. Petite the Dark Clown. Spellcaster effect monster. Not a reptile.
Nope. Not a clown
when this
type
card
either.
is sent to your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 Petite the Dark Clown from your hand or deck. I mean, this is kind of just some fodder.
It's sack fodder that replaces itself.
Well, it's not just sack fodder, because the thing is that if you get this in your graveyard in any way, you get another Petite out.
Yep.
So you'll have 3 copies of Petite. One of them goes to your graveyard. Doesn't matter how. You can use an effect to just send something from your deck to the graveyard. Then you get another Petite out. And the last Petite is probably... Oh, and then the last Petite will come out whenever you inevitably tribute the second Petite to make something. So that's like some pretty good fodder, actually. Like the only sticking point is getting that first one in the graveyard, which is easy if it's in your opening hand because you just normal summon it. But all the effects that would like put stuff directly in the graveyard naturally get banned, as we've seen.
But that's only like unconditional ones. There's still plenty of specific ones.
Yeah, there's
like
still
there could be
plenty of
something that says
specific ones.
Entomb 1 Spellcaster.
But it's true. Like if there's ones tied to spellcasters, or probably it more likely be like dark monsters or something. But
maybe.
I
feel like
anything
the
that
gets used so rarely.
Yeah, anything that can do that like makes this a pretty useful thing to at least summon link monsters. Like it's probably not so good for the XZs because there's probably not many that ask for level 3 monsters. But for Synchro and Link, Pete is probably doing you plenty good.
What year this card come out, Trog?
Let me take a look. One moment. I'm consulting the archives. This card...
I feel like this guy was in the movie.
This card was released in 2004.
Okay, this thing goes Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty strong. Like, the effect is not a hard once per turn. You can theoretically, like, just start your game and then use all 3 Petons, even if you don't have them in your hand.
It's either a trick or this thing goes Buzz Lightyear, and I'm gonna assume it goes Buzz Lightyear.
And isn't there shit like like instant fusion or something that uses cards from your hand to do fusions or something?
That's not what instant fusion does, but I mean there are cards that
Hell,
fusion
there's
cards
fusion cards that'll just use shit from your deck.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Like-
stuff.
Yeah, so like
there's a lot there.
there's a lot of ways to leverage this effect because it doesn't specify from the battlefield to the graveyard.
All right, are you locking
So
in?
I think this is good. I
Okay.
think this is a fucker.
You think this is a fucker?
It's either a trick and it sucks, or it goes Buzz Lightyear. I'm going with it goes Buzz Lightyear.
All right. The verdict is in. They think Pete and the Dark Clown fucks. And
Look at him.
I literally have this one written in big red text after in my spreadsheet. Does not count towards the score because this card sucks, but there's literally no reason for either of you to know why. But I really wanted to discuss a extremely stupid quirk of the Yu-Gi-Oh rules, which is called missing the timing. Let's talk about missing the timing in Yu-Gi-Oh! The dumbest rule that anybody has ever put in any card game ever. Please direct your attention to the first word in Pete and the Dark Clown. Could you please read that word for me? What does it say? Just the first word.
When?
When. Right. When this card is sent to the graveyard. When. Not if. It says when this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Now, theoretically, what may happen if when you banish, when Peyton is sent to the graveyard, something else happens afterwards? What do you think should happen, right? In Magic terms, you have Peyton on the stack. That causes something else to occur, right? So then the stack rewinds. Like, let's say 10 other things happen after that. You go from the top of the stack to the bottom, and you rewind and do all the effects in order. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a clown shoes game, and because this card says when, if it is not the literal last thing to happen in the chain, it does not happen. It misses the timing. If a card says when you can, it misses the timing if it's not the last thing that occurs.
It's like a May that you literally can't control.
So it's a triggered effect that doesn't get added to a chain.
It is added to the chain.
No, it does get added to the chain, but when it gets added to the chain, when you get to it in the chain, the conditions for it become invalid.
Yes.
The conditions that put it on the chain in the first place become invalid, so it's no longer valid to cast, and it just fizzles.
So here's where it gets even.
This is confusing me.
And this is like the I would say this is a poster child for missing the timing, because let me tell you what causes this card to miss the timing, right? Okay, so obviously if you did something to send this card to the graveyard and your opponent chains any effect at all, it doesn't matter what it is. If they have a response to this card's effect, it misses the timing. But it doesn't just stop there. If you use this card to summon a card, either from your hand as a tribute summon, or from the extra deck, or in a fusion summon, what's the last thing that happens? The last thing that happens is you have summoned a card. So because you have summoned a card and another card has been activated on the field, Peyton is not the last thing that happens. So you can't even use this to replace itself if you are summoning from your own extra deck. This card...
Because it's no longer the trigger timing. Wow,
it misses the timing.
Stupid.
The chain shit is so alien.
Yes, and that is why
it's like if
I
the
wanted to
stack
put
was
this card in.
designed wrong as a joke.
This is why I had to put this card in, is because missing the timing is the stupidest rule. It's completely arcane. Now here's the thing. Modern
Did
cards...
he even get errated to like actually work?
No. This card would honestly be really good if it didn't miss the timing. Like, this card would be pretty fucking
knew
good.
He would go Buzz Lightyear, god damn it.
I don't know if it would be like, it certainly wouldn't be like an auto include all over the place, but like if you're running a deck that cares about spellcasters or dark monsters, like you would probably run 3 copies of this guy. They don't make cards that miss the timing anymore. I will say, like they don't they don't write that on cards anymore. They don't write when anymore. It's always if.
They'll reprint a busted ass broken card and neuter it and then put it back into the game. But poor old Peyton over here is stuck in hell because they made him wrong as a joke.
They made him incorrect. They didn't even make him wrong. They really just made the rules stupid. Because okay, so here's the other thing about missing the timing. If this card said, when this card is sent to your graveyard, banish this card from your graveyard, right? If it did not say you can, it wouldn't miss the timing. It is only when the card says when you can. Because it is an optional effect. Like, you can choose not to do it, and because you can make the choice, it's not a mandatory effect. It means that it can miss the timing. If it's a mandatory effect, it can't miss the timing because it's mandatory. You have to do it. Otherwise, the game breaks down if that were the case. But anyway.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, this card doesn't even count towards the score because it's so bullshit, but I had to talk about missing the timing because it's so funny and interesting. They were seriously...
That's nuts.
Like, early Yu-Gi-Oh! Was such Calvin Ball that it's like, it's amazing. They were just coming up with anything.
I've learned.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a lawyer's game. No, Magic is a lawyer's game. This is Calvin Ball.
You just make shit
up. I've learned that there's a little Teferi Time Raveler built into every Yu-Gi-Oh! Game board that makes the game work.
Yeah, running in a hamster wheel.
Yeah, he runs on the. He makes the sand fall in the hourglass that slowly takes up your turn.
All right, so that's Pete and the Dark Clown. Again, I'm not going to count that one against you because there's literally no possible way for you to know why that card sucks shit.
Damn, Pete and
evil.
What? You're sexless.
All right.
What's his problem? All right,
here's
give me
the next one.
Oh baby, I've heard of this guy before.
I feel like I don't need to read this.
Well, that's all right.
I've
Let's
heard
go
of
over
this
it
guy
anyway.
Before, but I don't know it. It's my turn to read. Victory Dragon. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stars? 8 stars, yes.
That's 8.
I've always hated counting the stars. He's a dark type. He's a dragon, not a reptile. Notable. We have claws, we have scales, we have horns, we have teeth. Not a reptile. Dragon. This card cannot be special summoned. To tribute summon this card, you must tribute 3 dragon type monsters. If this card attacks your opponent directly and reduces their life points to 0, you win the match. Woo!
Yeah? What do you think?
Hell yeah. This card fucks.
All right.
Dude, if you attack them and reduce their life points to 0, you win the match.
Well, the match. So just to be clear, the match is not the game.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah, like it was such a stupid card. Like I remember this card's name, and I thought like, oh, I can't. Was this a card that sucked? And then I read the effect, and I thought, oh yeah, this is the card that sucks. And then I see you win the match at the end, and then I remember. Yeah, like this isn't a good card, but I think this is a card that would be banned anyway.
Some silver border shit.
Because they don't want a judge walking up to a table with like Jimmy and Timmy arguing over how the match should end 1-0.
Am I mistaken, or was this like a tournament reward card or something like that?
To be honest, I don't really know the history of the card off the top of my head. I don't think maybe it was, but I think it was.
Okay, for some reason I thought it was like some prestige. Maybe I'm thinking of some other card.
You might be thinking of Tyler the Great Warrior or whatever. But
yeah, I think I was thinking of something like that because I was thinking of like 1996 World Champion and Magic.
I'm looking it up, and this was a Shonen Jump promo card, so maybe that's
okay. So it was at least some kind of promotional.
Yeah, it was a promotional.
Standard set.
But you know that it wasn't like you didn't. It's not like there's 3 copies of it. It's a card that you could get.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I can't really say this fucks because it's pretty fucking bad, honestly. But it's not the card that you would ever want to let anybody actually play with. It's like a Shahrazad, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying, so I think it's banned. Like, it's just flagrantly disregarding the rules of the game. in its rules text. It's just like, yeah, you win the whole set if you connect with this thing.
So
whether it's busted or not, I don't know. I don't know if I really care. I just feel like it's probably banned on the principle of what the fuck were we thinking. But also, it's Konami, so.
So I say this is a sucks for the community.
Okay. Locking in. This card sucks.
Yeah, I'll say sucks as well. It's probably just banned or something. I mean, if
Well,
it's banned, then it's probably good.
I feel like I have to give you guys bonus points because you're right on the money. This card sucks and is banned. You cannot play this card. And there's a very, I mean, you guys basically, I mean, you nailed it, right? This is just a rulings nightmare. This is the judge's worst possible nightmare to have to play out this card, right? Or to see this card be played. Now, there is a very funny quirk, though. In the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, you can surrender at instant speed whenever, whenever, right?
Yeah.
So this card is just toothless. Oh, okay.
So this card doesn't do anything unless you don't know that you can surrender whenever you want. Now, that is the
That's
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Like some Borborygmos shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Pitting needle.
This is in the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. In the OCG, your opponent must accept your forfeit.
Oh.
So you can't.
What do you fucking mean?
I don't know. Like, look, I tried to look up as much as I could about this ruling.
Stand up.
And I couldn't. I could not find any information that other than just apparently, and like I said, I tried to find like guidelines, like literal English text rules, but I couldn't find anything official. But according to things I have read online, in the OCG, you may suggest a surrender, but your opponent can refuse that and make you keep playing the match. So
sit your ass back down and get hit by this dragon.
So Victory Dragon is a card which is god awful in the TCG and has to be banned in the OCG because it's too good. So
pick that hand back up.
Just a very funny card. Yeah, OCG is the Japanese rule set that they play a different version of the game in Eastern territories and stuff. But yeah,
this card is the biggest knowledge check to ever hit a competitive game.
Basically,
Japanese players get to hit them with the angry Kamehameha.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's do what? Hey, show me this guy. Alrighty. Let's keep on going.
Why the hell is there two rule sets? Because that's what they have instead of formats.
Yeah, I don't know.
They just
there's two different rule sets because Konami hates us. They hate us all.
Yeah. Konami just seems kind of ass backwards about that kind of stuff. Oh, I've seen this dude before.
Yeah, I think this is a recurring.
Oh, wait.
This is a recurring guy.
I just realized this is not the right card.
Damn.
Hold on. I replaced the card in my spreadsheet, but I forgot to replace the what the fuck? Why? The text is right, but the card is wrong. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I replaced this card with a different one. I'm getting it. Give me 1 second, guys. There we go. This is the card.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Oh, I love this guy.
The Devil May Cry red orb.
I fuck heavy with the yellow outline. It looks good. Anyways, this one's yours, Log.
All right. Appointer of the Red Lotus. Pay 2,000 life points and reveal your entire hand. Look at your opponent's hand and banish one card from their hand. Until your opponent's next end phase.
All that for a Thoughtseize? A temporary Thoughtseize?
I mean, it's not that temporary whenever you're just gonna win by the time they get it back.
That is true.
Like,
I don't know, but like, what are you gonna hit? Their permission, I guess?
Well, so it's a trap card. You go first, you set it, standby phase, flip it, take a look at their hand.
You show them, hey, I have force blue card.
Yeah, you show them that you have force blue card, and then you look at their hand, and you either take the thing that take whatever that thing is that stops Ash Blossom from working because you have Ash Blossom, or you take like their starting piece that lets them actually get going and set up their board.
I feel like the decks that are good though are like too flexible in their starts. Like, unless they kept like the world's shittiest hand.
Their starts are going to be flexible, but you're going to have perfect information here. Like, you can take a look and judge for yourself. It's like, okay, if they have 2 different ways to start, but I have Ash Blossom in hand and they don't have a way to stop Ash Blossom, I'll just take one and then stop the other, and they're fucked. Like,
and if they have permission, you just take their permission.
Yeah, and then like, I think that like any of these kinds of things where it's like perfect information and hand disruption, like, this is a pretty good way to just secure your win.
Yeah.
Like, Thoughtseize is a pretty good way to secure your win.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, fuck it. It's probably good.
Yeah, I think it's
pretty cut and dry. This card fucks. That's what you think? Locking in?
Probably, unless we missed something.
That's how I felt whenever I was doing my side, is like, this probably is this answer, unless I missed something entirely.
I don't think we missed anything, because you don't care about paying the life, you don't care about revealing your hand. Ripping a card is good. You don't care about them getting it back because you're just going to kill them anyways. Yeah, I think it's good.
And you would be correct. This card is banned. This is basically Konami's attempt at trying... This is a newer card. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is not a newer card. This card's from 2009. I thought this was newer. I guess it didn't get a reprint for like a decade, apparently. This is... I may be talking out of my ass because there are so many cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That I cannot have an encyclopedic knowledge of every single card. This is like the worst hand rip card, and it's still banned. Like this
nice.
This is the hardest one to play, basically, and like requires you to play life points, which doesn't really matter that much. Revealing your hand is pretty bad in Yu-Gi-Oh! And even then, this card is still too good to be unbanned. At the very least, it's like even, you know, you're looking at each other's hands. Exactly. And like hand information in Yu-Gi-Oh is so good because the entire game basically revolves around like playing around hand traps that people may or may not have, right? So like if you know what cards, like if you just know what hand traps your opponent has, like that's really, really good. Like, that's how you win the game. If you had X-ray vision and could see, if you had the fucking Millennium Eye and could see your opponent's cards every turn, like, you'd win 100% of games, you know? So, basically, I mean,
glasses.
This, that card that I almost put in, I don't know why the link was wrong, because the link literally says a pointer of the Red Lotus in the URL, but for some reason it was showing the Forceful Sentry. The Forceful Sentry...
They're both holding up their hand.
The Forceful Sentry is the card that I had in there first, and that one's just a spell card that just says, like, it's basically just a free Thoughtseize. And that card I had in at first.
Return to the deck. Yeah.
I had that one in first, and I was like, oh, this is, like, too easy. I have to pick a worse hand rip card. Yeah.
Whenever that fucking City Guard shows up, you know you're about to get down to some shit.
Oh, yeah.
there are a lot of old cards that they printed that say like remove a card from your opponent's hand, and they do not do that anymore. They have learned their lesson.
I feel like anytime a Yu-Gi-Oh card depicts like a medieval town, it's like, oh, this is like where the worst, most like sinful, unreasonable things occur.
Yeah.
Proger M. Math asked, is permission a card? No, when I say permission, I'm talking about cards like counter spells or hand traps, stuff that allows you to push your combo or push your spells that are disrupting the enemy's board state. Because, like, let's say, all right, it's turn 1, you build up your big board, blah, blah, blah. You pass your opponent, they play destroy all creatures, you know? So you are going to need something in your hand that, or on your field, which you probably have. You have, like, 4 fucking negates or whatever on turn 1. You need to negate that, and them having permission is them having something to deal something with your negation.
The appointer of the Red Lotus looks pretty cool, though. What's his story?
I like him.
I don't know. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know if that's a named character or...
Where's he come from?
Got another card for y'all.
Alrighty. Oh, baby, you gave me a bunch of text. Let me zoom in on this a little
Yeah,
bit.
this is a small one. I'm sorry. But this is...
I like this. I like the cut of this guy's jib. Yeah, he looks like Timbersaw. Just with the saw blade is going the wrong way. Grinder Golem. He's a dark monster. He's got 8 stars again. He's a fiend. No reptiles here. 3k to 300. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand to your opponent's side of the field by special summoning 2 grinder tokens. Fiend type, dark, level 1, attack 0, def 0. It's a case that they're just tokens. In face of attack position on your side of the field. If you special summon this monster, you cannot normal summon or set a monster during the same turn. Well, I'm assuming if this thing is fucking happening, you've probably already used your normal summon.
So, well, okay, so this is something that is like peculiar about Yu-Gi-Oh! Too, that I think is different from Magic. So, if you normal summon, you're not allowed to play this card.
Basically,
right?
yes. If you have normal summoned or set a monster, you basically do not meet the conditions to summon Grinder Golem, so playing him would be an illegal move.
Yeah, the
what the fuck? Why?
Vocabulary, the wording
says,
of Yu-Gi-Oh cards is really weird about this, because in a Magic card it would probably say at the top, like, you cannot play Grinder Golem if you normal summon this turn. Whereas with Yu-Gi-Oh, it words it like it words it in a way that it sounds backwards. Like you'd be able to get around it.
Yeah,
exactly.
But you can't get around it. It's very specific. It's because it says like the same turn. It doesn't say for the rest of the turn. It says the same turn. You are in the same turn currently, so you would not be able to summon him.
The way that's worded is like downright.
It's a little weird.
Fingers Louis shit, bro.
That being said, this looks like it's pretty fucking busted.
It gives you 2 guys.
So it gives you 2 guys. There's no restriction on special summoning or tributing those 2 guys. Yep. Which normally there is one, I'm pretty sure, whenever you're like making tokens. Like, typically those tokens say they cannot be used as tributes or whatever. The other thing is, you can special summon it to your opponent's side of the field.
You're basically trading in your normal summon for 2 tokens, but your opponent gets a guy. But you don't give a fuck about your opponent getting a guy because you're just gonna fucking win anyways. And
it doesn't really matter that they get the guy that much, because I think like just whenever the time is right, you just special summon it to their side of the field, and you probably just can special summon it in defense position, and it only has 300 defense. So
you
like,
get to pick?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're special summoning.
You get to pick.
That's funny.
So like, you're leaving them wide open still by making this defenseless guy on their side of the field. And then, like, yeah, you get your two pieces
dudes worth of fuel.
Yeah, you get your 2 pieces that you can use to presumably make something. Like, I don't know if you can make. You'd probably have to link summon with those 2 guys because they're level 0 or whatever.
I mean, you do some kind of extra deck combo stuff. Something happens.
But either way, like, you'll have something that you can do with them because there's no restrictions on them, and you could potentially do multiple if you had multiple in hand. And yeah, giving up the normal summon is like the least restrictive thing you could do, because like, you don't have to normal summon to start a combo in Yu-Gi-Oh! You can special summon all the way. So yeah, this looks like it's really good.
All right. Any disagreement with that, Mira?
Wait, you can't... Isn't setting putting it in defense mode? You wouldn't be able to summon this in defense mode, right? You can't.
I think
you can special
summon.
You can special summon an attacker defense. Is that what you're asking, or?
Yeah, I thought it was either face-up attack or face-down defense.
No,
and
if
face-down defense is set.
If it's a special summon, you can just choose to special summon it in face-up attack or face-up defense, unless the card specifies that it must be in defense or attack. Setting
just making sure, because I saw that set thing and I wanted to make sure that wasn't a trick with leaving them defenseless.
Yeah, that is only for like generally when you're setting a card, that is your normal summon. Like, setting a card is a normal summon.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it probably fucks. It just gives you a bunch of fuel and gives your opponent a useless idiot. It's like
if you're fine with giving your opponent
Orchard.
something like Nibiru, then like you're probably fine giving them a Grinder Golem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Locking in with fucks. This
Looks
card
good to me.
does fuck. You are correct.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
This card fucks, but it took a while for it to fuck. Because, as you know, every X years or so... yeah, actually, I am curious to see when this card was printed. I know it's relatively old, but I'm not sure how old I want to see. First printed in 2008. So, yes, very old card. Making tokens in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was not ever really... It was like something that some decks did, just like inherently. It was part of their strategy to create and utilize tokens. But it wasn't until...
did it.
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't until Link Summoning came out that suddenly every single card, old-ass card, that generically created tokens became busted overnight. And if you don't know, Link Summoning...
they don't care about level totals or anything like that.
Link Summoning is basically the most simple form of extra deck summon in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it will say on it, like, 2 monsters, or 3, or 4, or whatever it says on the card, and all you do is you just send those materials to the graveyard, right? And that made these cards that can summon tokens super, super busted. Because Link Summoning was super good, and Link Summoning was required. Because when they introduced links into the game, they added what they call a master rule. Every once in a while, they add a master rule to the game, which, like, changes how the game is played, kind of. So, like, the introduction of Pendulum...
It validates your playmat.
Basically. I'm trying to remember the number. I think this was Master Rule 4, I think it was. And Master Rule 4 said, you cannot summon cards from your extra deck unless they are in the extra monster zone or are pointed to from a link card. So, if you don't know what the Yu-Gi-Oh! Board looks like, you have your 5 spell traps at the bottom, you have your 5 monster zones above that, and then there are 2 special zones, like, in between the 2 players, right? You remember that from Master Duel?
Pull up a chart
let me pull
viewers.
Yeah, hold on. Yu-Gi-Oh! Play map.
That's another thing that's a huge difference between Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic, is there's no preset, like, battlefield configuration in Magic. There's no limits to, like, the amount of creatures you can have or anything like that.
This image will probably
It's a big thing to get used to coming over.
Let me, here, give me 1 second. Image. Hopefully this demonstrates it. This is only 1/2 of the field. I could probably find a better one, but... So this is like the layout of one side of the field, basically, but imagine that the 2 cards at top, those are the extra... Those are like the link zones, basically. Whenever you summon a link monster in Yu-Gi-Oh!, they have to go into one of those 2 zones. And Master Rule 4 said every card that comes from the extra deck has to go in one of those 2 zones or be pointed to from a link monster, if that makes sense. I don't want to explain all of like what link cards are, but basically they have arrows on them that point to other zones. So all that basically meant is like, we introduced link summoning. It doesn't matter if you want to run a deck that used to not need link monsters. You now need link monsters to play the game, basically. So that's Master Rule 4, and all that is basically just to say generic cards that make tokens became way too strong, and they had to ban all of them. Grinder Golem is like on the weaker side of the token makers, and it's still too strong to be played.
Wig.
How long did that shit last? I don't actually know when they definitely rescinded Master Rule 4, so I don't know how long it took. But yeah, that made a lot of people quit the game. But yep.
Awesome.
Yeah,
brilliant decision.
That shit is a mystery to me even now. Like, I was having such a hard time figuring out how to connect the pieces, how to play Connect 4 with my links and my freaks.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if they will ever do another type of summoning. They haven't made one in a while, which makes me think that it's probably not going to happen.
They're saving it for a rainy day, bro. No, they're saving it.
All right. Here's the next card.
Modern Horizons 4 is going to hit Yu-Gi-Oh like a dump truck.
Maybe. They might just make a new game instead of making Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. Who knows? All right.
Aw, dude. Log, you're up.
All right. We got some Ancient Leaf here.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty grimy. If you have 9,000 or more life points, you can pay 2,000 life points to draw 2 cards. So, the starting life total in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is 8,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily trivial to get 9,000 life points, I don't think. But I think, well, actually, now that I think about it, there are just spell cards that make you gain life. So
yeah, they got Healing Salve or whatever the fuck.
So, like, if that's the case, then it probably makes the cut. Because if you're playing like a spell card, I'm being like worst case scenario, and you're playing spell cards that only gain you life and have no other bonus. You'll play one spell card to gain you the life to reach 9,000 life, and then you'll play Ancient Leaf to draw the 2 cards. So you've spent 2 cards to draw 2 cards, and so like that's not card advantage, but it does like give you more consistency, I guess, because like your deck just has 6 slots that are taken up with just like wild cards basically.
Now, there's nothing stupid about this "if you can" wording here now, is there?
I will say, this card cannot miss the timing, no.
Not entirely what I was looking for, because, like, the way I looked at this, the first point was, like, this would just be an effect that would last for the rest of the turn, like, I don't know, like exploration or some shit like that, or
no, this isn't any sort of like
fast bond, something like that.
It's not a continuous effect. It is once.
Yeah, no, it's just once.
You can't keep paying.
It checks for the life total, and then you can pay 2K to draw 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It doesn't seem good enough. Like, yeah,
I mean,
drawing cards in Yu-Gi-Oh is good.
Just, like, people will, like, we talked about this earlier. People will play those pots that can just lose you the game by being played.
Just to draw more shit into your combo. It's true.
In that case, it's just like drawing 1, I think. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is good enough. There's probably cards that are better than just like 1-for-1 gain you 1,000 life points too. Because usually gaining life isn't like that good in Yu-Gi-Oh! So they probably have some stuff that's like a little bit souped up.
Maybe. See, I was coming at it from the opposite angle, where I was like, what gains you life that's going to be good enough to... I mean, this is good enough to offer the synergy, I guess, for you to sacrifice slots in your deck to put in shit that gains you life.
It's a good reward.
I don't know.
Well, feel free to disagree if you'd like. That is in the rules that I just made up.
I mean, this is narrower, but there's also effects that opponents will use that gain you life that potentially just gives you, like, more fuel.
It alley-oops you.
But
yeah,
that's probably not, like, a big thing to worry about. I think that just the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, drawing 2 cards and only having to get the right life total to do it, that's probably acceptable. I think that's enough to make it good.
Probably.
Okay. All right.
I feel like it's a goddamn trick, because drawing cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is good.
You locking in?
But I don't fucking know. I'm not logging in.
You have to lock in. That's how the game works. What do you mean? You can't just choose not to lock in. You gotta lock in, or else
I wasn't locking in with what I was saying.
Okay.
Bud.
So what's the what are we saying? Are we saying fucks?
So I think it fucks.
I'll just go with log and say that it fucks, but I'm not convinced.
It's a bit suspicious because that'd be like 4 in a row, but I'm not metagaming. I'm sticking to my principles.
All right.
I'm not convinced, but I'll go with fucks.
Now, if it helps you out, I'm not picking the cards on whether or not they suck or fuck because I haven't been paying attention. So you shouldn't pay attention to the ordering of the cards I've been showing you, just so you know. But
I wasn't.
This card does suck. This card is not good.
God damn it!
I have tricked you.
Your siren song.
There have been like maybe one fringe rogue strategy that could potentially play this card, but realistically, life gain is just not printed on enough good cards for this to have ever been playable. And I think I feel like I almost spoiled this one because I feel like when we did the last Sucks or Fuck, I specifically said like, yeah, life gain in Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty terrible. You would never do it as a major strategy. So
yeah, I mean, naturally,
but there's always fringe cases.
There is fringe cases.
Whenever it's only 1,000 more life points and the payoff is good, it seems like it would make the cut. But I don't really know. Like whenever I think of life gain in Yu-Gi-Oh, I remember being a kid and having like Man with the Ancient Poison in my hand.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, well, surely there's something better than that.
Yeah, I would say this is a card waiting for a deck, right? Like this is a card that would be played if there was a good enough strategy that maybe didn't revolve around life gain, but just happened to gain you life over the course of their turn, sort of thing. But
chat room says there was a. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was actually. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. That is actually the reason that I added this card. Is this card does have a funny story where there was a quote unquote leak going around of new master rules trying to Konami trying to spice the game up, and one of these supposed leaks did say that they were going to raise the life point total, and because of that leak, people did start to buy this card out thinking that Konami would, for some reason, increase the starting life total to like 10,000 and then not ban this card instantly because then it would just be Pot of Greed. So those people were dumb, and that leak wasn't even real in the first place. So
I mean, how is it gonna
Dark Souls with 4 lines next to it?
Because I mean, how is 2,000 life gonna spice the game up anyway?
No, I don't. Well, that would have been like when the game was slightly slower than it is now, but it probably wouldn't make that much of a difference. All right. Yep, you guys nailed that one. I haven't been doing a good job of keeping score this time, I'll be honest.
No, we didn't. We said it fucks.
We
oh wait, you got it wrong.
Of nailing.
Whatever. See,
I went with log, but I was suspicious.
I got confused. That's
Let
right.
it be known that I was
got
right
confused
in my heart.
I remember that Mirage said that she didn't think it was good. All right.
I should have stayed true to my convictions next time.
Which ones do we have left? I've been going a little out of order. Let's do this one. I like this card a lot. That does not speak towards its competitive viability, but I do like it.
I want a paragraph. Let's go.
It's not a paragraph. It's a couple sentences.
Damn it. Oh, baby. Witch's Strike. It's a trap card. If your opponent negates the normal or special summon of a monster's or the activation of a card or effect, destroy all cards your opponent controls and in their hand. It's got the Solemn Judgment guy, and it's got his baddie goth ex-wife or whatever the fuck is going on with this dude's story. He's like divorced or something.
You know the lore.
I've seen cards.
Yeah.
That's it. If your opponent negates the normal special summon of a monster or the activation of a card or effect. Okay, yeah, so it's like some Timmy shit that's like, oh wow, blow up all their shit and blow up their entire hand, but they have to counterspell your ass first.
What do you think, Log?
You have to remind me.
And you have to set it first?
Yeah, if you set the trap, can you activate the trap on that turn?
No.
No.
You have to
wait until their turn. So this card
their
sucks.
turn.
Well, yeah, well, that's pretty bad then. Because there's that part of it where it's like, you can't use it as like a protection for your setup turn.
Yeah.
And
it's
also,
like, it's force
like,
negation.
And also, because it's a trap card that's on the field and everything, you'll probably have, like, your opponent will have, you know, the fucking Beast of All Things on their side of the board.
The Dark King of Candy.
Yeah, the Dark King of Candy will be on their side of the board, and it'll negate the special summon of a monster, and then you'll flip over Witch's Strike saying, like, oh, I'm gonna destroy all your shit. And then they'll activate Dark King of Candy again and say, negate this card and destroy it.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks.
All right.
Yeah, I think sucks.
Pretty simple, cut and dry. You think that Witch's Strike is a bad card? Well, I'll have you know.
I think so.
You are correct. This card is not good.
I can't even celebrate over that one.
It is bait. I thought I hope I did not offend your intelligence by attempting to show you this card, because you basically caught on instantly. It's there's even more reasons why it's bad that you didn't bring up. For one, it is a normal trap card and not a counter trap card, which means it can be chained too. So basically, I mean, I guess you did kind of mention that with the you try to negate something and they negate your negate.
Now, is counter trap like split second? Nothing can go on the chain anymore?
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
Counter trap is what is spell speed 3. Did I just mic?
Whatever
oh
that
shit,
means.
I marked wrong. Sorry. You guys get a point for that. Yeah, the spell speeds are kind of confusing. Basically, if this card was a counter trap, it might get used. It's kind of hard to know. It's kind
like anti-permission.
It's kind of a narrow card also, because this is where we're getting into some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Rules lawyering bullshit. But note that it says negates the normal summon or special summon or the activation of a card or effect.
Right, so if they're trying to negate your negate, you could use this in response. It's like anti-permission.
There's a specific difference between negating the activation of an effect or negating the effect. Those are two different things in Yu-Gi-Oh! So some cards, cards.
Pete and the Clown.
It's a bit of a Pete and the
graveyard.
Clown situation where some cards will specifically negate the activation of an effect, so it's like it never happened. Some cards will allow the activation to go through, but negate the effect, so the card activated, it just didn't do anything. So
Jesus Christ.
That's just another reason why this card is not very good. But it does.
Fucking A.
You nailed it, Mira, by saying that it's Timmy shit, because it is very much Timmy shit. It is just, it's a card that says destroy all cards and all cards in their hand. So like, realistically, if you get this to work,
12-year-old reads this card and goes, oh.
Yeah, you win the game. The card might as well just say you win the game on it. It's just, even a card that says you win the game, if it's this bad otherwise, is not playable. So
whenever a witch and a dark clown love each other very much, first they activate an effect. But don't add to the chain, or you'll be sorry about what comes of that.
All right. Oh, we are here at this might be the last card. We'll see. Because I do want to do the other game, and we've almost been going for 2 hours. But so
all yours, Log.
I'm sorry, Log. I'm sorry for giving you this one, because maybe I can find a better picture of this one. This one's really small.
No, that's awesome.
I'm just saying you might have trouble
reading
the text on this one.
No, I can read it.
Dude,
I got it zoomed up.
I'm gonna make it bigger on
vision,
stream so that people can read this card. Go ahead.
You want me to take this one?
All right, let me see. Last turn. This card can only be activated during your opponent's turn when your life points are one. What
That's
number is that?
That's 1,000. That's 1,000.
1,000 or less. Select one monster on your side of the field and send all other cards on the field and in their respective owners' hands to their respective graveyards. So everything except for one monster that you have. After that, your opponent selects and special summons one monster from their deck in face-up attack position and attacks your selected monster. Any battle damage from this battle is treated as 0. The player whose monster remains alone on the field at the end phase of this turn wins the duel. Any other case results in a draw.
It's banned.
Yeah, I mean, just need to see that last word, really. But
it's banned.
Notably, this is like this trap card is also illegal color. Rather than the normal poisonous purple, it is a rather
bubblegum paint.
garish chartreuse.
Would you believe me if I told you that this is a very, very, very old card?
Oh,
you don't say.
Yeah, so anything that you can finagle to force a draw, I'm sure is banned. I don't know if this counts as good or not because of that. Like, technically,
I would say fucks if you like consistently are able to force either like wins or draws. Fucks.
I mean, this is a pretty hard effect to activate unless you are building. You're like building a deck to bring yourself to 1,000 life on your turn with this trap set, basically. And also, like
if they're one-tapping you with a guy, then yes, it's hard. But do remember that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Combat, they don't hit you all at the same time. They hit you one after the other, and then you could flip it.
Yeah, but they have to kill your. Do they have to kill your monsters first? Do that.
Sorry, what exactly is the question?
They do have to hit.
You're asking how you get to 1,000?
If there's critters on the field, they can't just smack you in the face unless they have stuff that says like Yu-Gi-Oh! Trample.
If you have monsters on your side, they cannot direct attack unless there is some effect that is allowing them to do so.
So it's going to be absurdly hard for you to have a monster on your side of the field while also going down to 1,000 life on your opponent's turn.
But there's also tons of effects that make you pay life.
Yeah, so you'd have to build your deck to take the
I don't think it's that much
yourself.
I don't think it's that much of a detour, is what I'm saying. Like, there's tons of effects that do that, and like for good cards.
Yeah, like I don't know. The setup seems kind of specific because so you get to 1,000 life, and I mean, like if you just want to draw, then that's one thing. Like if you want to be a little fuckhead, then yeah, you could make a crooked cook and be happy. But if you want to actually win, it would probably be harder to get a monster out that like secures the win. It'd be probably almost impossible, depending on the matchup. So like in that regard, it kind of sucks. But I don't know, like it kind of counts as fucking if you can build a deck that gets you to 1,000 life on your turn, and then presents a situation where you have a monster that can't be destroyed by battle, and then you just flip last turn, and then like, oh, it's a draw. Like, I think that you can probably force that scenario well enough that
it's
counts,
and it
counts as fucks. That counts as fucks because it does avoid losing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Avoiding losing is good, for sure. You don't want to lose in the card game.
Like you could declare victory over a tournament organizer with a deck built around this card. So I think that counts as fucks.
All right. Locking in with the fucks. This card, last turn. It fucks. It's banned. It's hella banned. It's hella banned for multiple reasons. This card does come with some supplementary material. So one thing that I will say that you missed is, so Log, you were talking about like, you're more likely to get a draw than win, right? So
I think, it depends on how easy it is to get like a guaranteed win monster, I guess.
Right. So
or
what
how
do
you can restrict your ability for your opponent to search their deck or something.
So there you go. You've figured out the secret. I'm gonna show you guys another card. This guy, nope, not that guy. This guy.
Y'all got Idiot Bird?
This guy is called Jowgen the Spiritualist, and he says neither player can special summon monsters. And if you read last turn, it does say your opponent has to special summon the monster from their deck. So if you have any effect that prevents your opponent from special summoning monsters, they cannot special summon a monster. Therefore, Jowgen the Spiritualist is the only monster on the field, and you instantly win. Congratulations.
Brilliant.
Oh, nice.
All
right, so there is a way through. So yeah, that's pretty easy to set up then.
There is a way through,
That's
but
funny.
there's one more piece of the puzzle as well. Let me pull this guy out. So the other stipulation is that you have to be at 1,000 life points, right? And you were like not exactly sure. Why can I not copy this text? You were not exactly sure how to do that? Well, let me show you this card.
Yep. This does not say once.
This is a card called Inspection, and it says, during your opponent's standby phase, you can randomly select one card in your opponent's hand and look at it at the cost of 500 life points. It does not say how many times you have to do, or how many times you can do that. That being said, they did errata this card, I believe, so that it does say you can only do it once per standby phase.
Womp womp.
It kind of makes sense. They probably don't want a card that can just arbitrarily bring you to any multiple of 500 life points. That would be convenient. So this was a combo back in the day before Last Turn got banned, and I don't even want to say it was particularly like the best possible thing you could be playing, but it's just such an ass thing to play against. And Last Turn is maybe the weirdest Yu-Gi-Oh card of all time. The amount of rulings nightmares that this card causes is like unprecedented, right? It does not work like it does not work like anything else in the game. No other card in the game says stop whatever phase you're doing and like have a sub battle phase. It's basically like Sherazade. So they banned it because it's not a fun card to play against, and there's like a 15-page Google Docs that explains how the card actually works. So I don't think having people have to read a novel to even be able to resolve the card, even if you don't have Jowgen on the field or whatever, is very good gameplay.
Joey should have ripped this one off the top of his deck one episode.
That's a good point. I'm surprised that never happened.
This would have been perfect for him.
All right. Well, you know what? I have one more card. How much time do you guys have? Are you guys good on time? You want to do one last card?
Good. I'm good forever,
we can do
homie.
it. I'm just a little bit hungry is all.
Okay, because I have one more game after this, but that one it's not going to take 2 hours, so don't worry about it.
Yep.
Well, we'll just go ahead, because I literally, it's just one last card that I have, so we'll just knock this one out.
Okay.
I'm pulling it up. And here it is. You wanted a paragraph?
Oh, baby. Hell yeah. This dude
Here's
looks
your
like
paragraph.
a Haxorus. That's a Pokemon, right? Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom. Dark type. 8 stars. Dragon Fusion effect. Not a reptile. Please note.
Nope.
2 Dark Pendulum monsters. Must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing the above cards you control, in which case you do not use polymerization. Got it. So true, bro. Once per turn, you can target one other monster on the field or in the graveyard. Until the end phase, this card's name becomes that monster's original name and replace its effect with that monster's original effect. Also, for the rest of this turn, if your monster attacks a defense position monster, it has trample. Okay, so this guy can... Is it Corpse Robber? I think that's there's a clone in Magic that clones something from the graveyard. But it can either do the field or the Yeah, one other monster on the field or in the graveyard. It doesn't specify whose field or whose graveyard, so you can just copy your opponent's best thing.
True.
If it's better than this, which must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing the above cards you control.
Well, fusion's pretty easy to do, I think.
So
There's a lot
all
of
that's
fusion
basically
spells.
saying
This
is that
sentence is Chinese to me.
all that's saying is that you don't have to use polymerization. You can special summon this card by just tributing 2 Dark Pendulum monsters, which is, I'll just say that's how you would do it. You would never like fusion summon this thing any other way other than that.
Right.
There would be no reason to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. Why
Well,
use this
that's
when
the
you can
point
just
of
use
the
other
thing.
guy
That's
that
the point of the
you're
game show,
copying?
Mira. What do you mean? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm working on it, bro.
Yeah.
What Get a sentence out.
What does original effects mean?
The stuff that's written on the card.
Yeah, exactly.
But, so does that? I guess what I'm asking is, if there's a card that says like, you can only activate cards of this name once per turn, and
Because
somehow
its
you've already
name-
activated.
It changes the name, so
It
you don't
changes
get to
the
activate
name.
it again.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was just wondering if original had any like pertaining to that as like this is fresh or something.
No.
No, I don't think so. It's just like in the event that you copy another like if this guy were to target another Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom who is transformed into something else, you would transform your SKDSV. God, there's no good way to refer to this thing.
Nope.
I'm gonna call him Venom. If you copy a Venom that's transformed into another guy, you would just turn into another Venom. Basically, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah. So
That's the
because
only reason it says original. It's just
Yeah.
in case the card is transformed.
exactly, which is
I mean,
you know,
I don't know. Like,
bit of
like
an
I
edge
said,
case.
my question was, why play this when you could just play the thing that you're copying?
why indeed.
I guess it's easier to put. It could be easier to put this thing out than something else. They probably got like, I don't know how crazy the totem pole of Yu-Gi-Oh creatures gets. All I know is they got a big cannon and they got a guy named Access Code Talker and
true.
Appaloosa. And that's it. That's all the guys that I know.
Yeah, I couldn't pick any of those.
You could turn this dude into a Progenitus or something, you know, or like an Emrakul.
I guess there's like, I'm wondering if there are cards where if you could stick the effect on something that had base 2800 power, it would like fuck up the effect. Because I don't know how many like copy effects exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! At least in this way, because it doesn't copy the stats, right? It only copies the effects. But it also doesn't like
would seem so.
copy. It also doesn't copy like the level or type or anything. It's just the name.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had something that was like, this gets more power as a function of something, and that something is like easy to put on a Supreme King Dragon Starving Venom kind of guy, then this could just be like a quick get this guy out. Its power is 10,000 and you win even with the new master rules in place.
The other use case I thought of is like, you could use this to copy something that says like, I don't know, when this is used as tribute fuel to summon something bigger, count it as 2 of them or something like that. And because it keeps its level and it's only copying that ability, you would have a shit ton of stuff to be tributing with by copying that kind of ability. I don't know. When it comes down to a guy that copies abilities, it's like, I don't know how the fuck, how good are all the other cards in the game? I don't know.
Well, we've seen about 14 of them so far. What do you think?
This dude could be a crooked cook. I'm just saying.
And you probably wouldn't be able to use it to like copy your opponent's best monster, because their best monster is most likely something that can negate
That has protection, yeah.
or cannot be targeted.
Yeah, because they got that too. Yep.
So,
it does say target.
So, yeah, I think that like unless there is a specific interaction that works to just combo to get like a combo kill, I think it sucks because
no, it is also not a quick effect. It's sorcery speed only.
Yeah, like I think it sucks because like, yeah, getting it out doesn't seem very hard, but I don't see because like it doesn't have much of an effect that like does a lot. Well,
I'm just gonna hedge my bets and say this has some kind of fucked up combo interaction that makes it fucked.
Well, it's either that there's a combo interaction or the way that you build the deck lets it just combo or not combo, it just lets it target something in your graveyard that you like tossed in there earlier to basically get a copy of that card on the field without jumping through the hoops of getting that on the field.
Yeah, like
and it would just
be
well, it wouldn't even be like a boss monster or anything like that. It would be just like, this thing has a good effect when it's on the field, but I don't have a good way to get it on the field, so I'm just gonna put it in my graveyard and then have Mr. Starving Venom copy it. So that's my way to get it on the field.
I feel like the amount of work you have to put into this guy just to do that to like some.
I don't think that's like I said. I don't think it's a lot of work. Pinion monsters kind of like just you like dump your hand of pinion monsters.
Yeah, but it is 2 of them. My point is there might be other good shit to do, but I'm just gonna say that it fucks based on this probably has some fucked combo interaction.
What do you say?
Yeah,
Log?
like I don't think it's
my bet on that.
I don't think it's good for like getting a good effect from your opponent, but I think that it's potentially good for the thing I described where like there's something that's easy to get in the graveyard but harder to get on the field and you need to get it on the field. This lets you do it. So I'll say fucks.
All right.
Yep.
Does this card fuck Supreme King, Dragon, Starving Venom, 10 million lines of text? Does all of that text result in a good card? The answer is yes. This card is banned. This card is banned, and
what's the trick?
So
what's
okay,
the combo?
So number one, I'll say Log. You got both sides of this card correct. Number one, on its face, this is just a good card in pendulum decks to get some effect that would be annoying to summon properly, but you're basically okay. So copy effects in Yu-Gi-Oh are banned. There's like 2 cards that can copy effects, and they are both banned because it is too good in this game to do that. Which I picked this card specifically because I know that there are a ton of copy effects in Magic, and I thought it was very funny playing that game and seeing all those and being like, oh, this is just something you do in Magic. Like this is just like a strategy to like be copying shit. Because in Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, this shit's hella banned. They don't want you doing that. But I will say it would be a good card, but maybe not ban worthy if it wasn't for this card. Go ahead and take a look at that card, which is the real reason why this is banned. I will put it on screen.
Hey, that's not Lyralisk. That's a harpy lady.
I mean, they're bird people.
They gotta be real. That's a harpy lady.
So go ahead and read that card.
Good luck, Log.
Out loud.
All right. Okay. Miss Independent Nightingale is a fusion monster that you get from Lyralisk Assembled Nightingale and one other Lyralisk monster. And if it's fusion summoned using an Xyz monster on the field as fusion material whose original name includes Lyralisk, you can increase this card's level by the number of Xyz material that monster had. This card gains attack equal to its level times 5,000.
500. Close enough.
Times 500.
5,000 would be kind of fucking insane. That would put it at base 5,000 attack.
Once per turn, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to this card's level times 500. Okay, so this is what I was initially talking about. Like this,
you got it.
The level doesn't go away on Supreme Venom. So how many stars do you have? 8?
Yep.
8.
So what's 8 times 5? 4,000.
Yep.
Number.
And what's 4,000 times 2?
Okay, so it's like it's a guaranteed kill because he does piercing damage.
That is correct, because there was a scarily consistent FTK, which involved a pendulum deck, Lyrilisk Independent Nightingale, and Supreme King, Dragon Starving, that guy.
Yep.
So basically, you could cheat out Independent Nightingale with Instant Fusion, which, for the purposes of this show, is just a card that says Special Summon Lyrilisk Independent Nightingale. You don't have to care about what else it does. That's what it did. And then you got 2 Mr. Venoms on the field, and you won. And guess what? It's really not hard to get 4 Dark Pendulum monsters on the field. So it was extremely good FTK, and yeah, basically it took the copy cards from being like good and stupid, and they probably shouldn't have printed them, to like definitely has to be banned. Like it cannot exist in the game because it's just unfun. So.
Yeah, I was thinking there was a type of card that people would play in Master Duel, and I don't really remember what they were. They were like, basically the archetype was like the super cool level guys, and all of their cards were like, these guys have 5,000 or 500 times their level in attack.
Think about, was it like the Numerons or something?
I think it was. That sounds right.
I think it was Numerons. Yeah, Numeron was an OTK strategy in early Master Duel. I don't know if anybody's playing that anymore, but...
Oh, that sounds familiar.
They were like weird Xyz guys,
like space station satellite.
Yeah, they
thing.
they did some shit with their field spell, and something about they just got a bunch of attack and killed you. They would just play. It was a going second strategy where they just wipe your board with like, going second board wipe cards and then just kill you. But yeah, so that's all of the card guesses. I think you guys did pretty good. I think you guys, I wasn't doing a good job of keeping score, but I think you did better than I did on the Magic cards, potentially.
Well, we were doing bad. We were doing bad in the opening, but I think
you pulled it through.
I think we recovered quite nicely.
I mean, you learned more about the game. So
easy.
Now I will ask you to please vamp for 5 minutes while I go pee and get the next segment set up. So okay. I'll be right back. I really have to pee.
Yeah, what were we talking about before? Daryl Dixon, the Book of Carol?
Something about that, yeah.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead and shit.
Why the fuck is he in a castle?
I don't fucking know.
The other thing is I was trying to look up Dragon Age. There's a new Dragon Age game. You know that? Coming out on Halloween.
Nope. That's one of those game franchises that like doesn't exist in my brain. It's like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. They just go clean over my brain.
Yeah, it's not really on my radar at all. But Jeff Gerstmann was talking about it this week on his podcast. And like notably, it's an oddity in that it is a EA game that is coming out with no de novo, no DRM at all.
Weird.
And so I was taking a look at it because I honestly don't know what Dragon Age games even look like whenever you're playing them.
I know there's a bald guy.
And I looked at the screenshots on their Steam page, and I did not help. Like, honestly, it looks like it's got a rhythm game segment in it. So I had to watch a video, and I learned that it's not a rhythm game segment. It is just it's just like a weird, complicated menu that they open in the middle of fights. I don't know. It looks like a very normal game. Oh, but you know what isn't normal? This is something that the world has to know about. This is something that I saw yesterday. There's a game coming out on Steam it is a Vaporware 360 game. It was a game that was going to be on the 360, and they last showed it in 2010, and then they never showed it again. And then it just popped up from the grave out of nowhere. It's called Captain Blood. Take a look at that page. Like, watch the video for that game on the page. It's a time capsule that people haven't even like gotten on board with yet. people are trying to do like PS1 games right now, and this is a modern day 360 game. Like, you look at that, you look at a video of the game being played, and like all the fucking dudes look like Fable, and I think that's great.
Steam was hiding this game from me because it says I chose not to see sex.
Yeah, it's a pirate game.
Yeah, this sure does look like an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah, it's wild to me. It's like
You're telling him about Captain Blood.
It's like a thought-out caveman, but like it's not even a caveman because the thing that people are aping off of right now are older. It's like a thought-out Victorian man.
All right, I'm back. I've emptied my bladder. Thank you for buying me time to do that. I drink so much
God of
water. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me too. I was like, damn. It looks kind of cool. I might play it. It looks kind of badass. For the next segment, this is a new segment that I have invented. And this segment is called Flavor Testing. A catchy little name. Let me go ahead and open up a side stream for my friends, because you will need this information.
The logo looks like grape jelly.
Yeah.
That's the flavor.
So here's how this sub game works. We know about card effects, but I think one of my favorite parts of Yu-Gi-Oh is that there are a lot of vanilla monsters in the game, and they all are really dumb. Honestly, they're just the descriptions are very silly. So I thought it'd be fun to do a little game where I have you two guess, and you'll be against each other this time.
Awesome.
Kind of. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think this through that hard. But anyway, I'm going to show you card art and 3 options. It's a multiple choice quiz, and you have to guess what is the flavor text that goes with the card. Are you ready?
Okay, all right. I get the picture.
Let's go to our first card. Oh wait, I forgot I made it do this. I was playing around with Google Sheets or Google Slides or whatever. Made me feel like I was in middle school again. All right, here we go. Here's your first guy. We have a blue gentleman here. Is this card's description the flavor text? Having conquered the Colosseum, he roams the plains looking for a worthy opponent. Is it B? Specializing in combination attacks, this warrior uses magnetism to block an enemy's escape. Or is it C? An exiled lancer whose dangerous strikes are invisible to the naked eye. I don't know if you guys want to be against each other or if you want to decide on the same one. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Whatever's funnier.
So
I have my answer.
I guess we're against each other, but I got one question.
Yeah.
Are all the descriptions from an existing card, or did you make up 2 of them? And one of them was real.
Some of them I wrote. Some of them are descriptions of other cards. It's not.
Damn.
There's not. It's both to try and trick you harder, basically.
Okay.
That's fucked up.
So some of them I wrote, some of them are from other cards, and it's been so long since I made the slideshow, I don't remember which ones are which.
I've got my answer.
All right.
It's
Locking in.
Tough.
I'm just going to go on the honor system and say that you're not going to change your answer to the other person's answer.
Of course not.
So.
What are we, animals?
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with A.
Okay.
I'm going with B, because it's the last thing you'd fucking expect. That thing in his helmet is a magnet.
Well.
Also, his helmet looks like a frenulum.
Let's see. What is it? This card is called M Warrior number 1. It's specializing in combination attacks. This warrior uses magnetism to block an enemy's escape. You are correct.
I'm so good.
That thing in his helmet is supposed to be a magnet.
The thing that kept me off of it is because I thought, all right, well maybe that's the description for Magnet Warrior.
And that is why
which is also a card alongside M Warrior number 1.
Yeah, I think I actually wrote both A and C. Neither of those 2 are other cards. So, but I'm glad I could trick you. I thought I might be able to trick you with the lance as well, but he kind of looks like a gladiator. All right, let's go to the next one. Here we have this lovely little fellow here with the strangest perspective on its face for some reason. Is this A, a very small dragon known for its vicious attacks? B, a minor dragon incapable of breathing fire? Or C, the unassuming larval stage of a dangerous breed of dragon?
I have my answer.
This one is basically unfair, so you might as well, whatever you think. This is a hard one.
I think I'm gonna pick B.
You going with B?
I was also going to pick B.
All right, both of you locking in with B, a minor dragon incapable of breathing fire. This card is Petite Dragon. It is a very small dragon known for its vicious attacks. Sorry to say. Yeah, that was like,
I mean, like,
that
if
was
you're
like
designing
unfair.
a card game, if you're designing a card game in the early 2000s, you receive a Petite Dragon, and you're an American working in a localization office, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? And then you're slam your fist on the wall and put a hole in your poster of Spawn, and then you'll write a badass description for it.
I had to pick this one because the head just looks so fucked up. It looks like an error. It looks like it's photoshopped onto the rest of the body. I don't know like what they were doing with this one. All right.
It's not that bad, but
Here we
it's
have
pretty rough.
a guy. Is this A, a soldier that kills with his own fists? B, a fighter that battles with his iron knuckles? Or C, a warrior that fights with his bare hands?
This is fucked up.
I got my answer.
They wouldn't say kills. It's B.
It's C.
All right. Which one is it, B or C? This is Battle Warrior, a warrior that fights with his bare hands.
Yeah, you think I don't know Battle Warrior? Joey Wheeler played this card.
Look, this one I was pretty sure at least one of you would recognize, but I had to put it in. My husband wanted me to, and I wanted to as well.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to show the Battle Warrior. But yeah, that's the one that I'm gonna know for sure.
It's got 3 explanation points. I think that's the most explanation points on a card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably.
If there are 2 cards that I'm gonna know, it's gonna be Battle Warrior and Sonic Duck.
Yeah, I didn't put Sonic Duck. That one's too easy. All right, Here we have this guy. Is this A, an undead warrior who attacks at long range with his magical daggers? B, the reanimated corpse of a legendary ninja searching for his lost memories? Or C, armed with the Psycho Sword, this sinister assassin rules the Badland?
Wow. I have my answer.
I can't go for... There's no way I can go for C because it's too goofy. It's too funny. And also, he's got mini swords.
That is why my answer is C. For the record, that is exactly why my answer is C.
What do you think, Log?
I think it's gonna be B.
All right. The answer is... It's Dark Assailant, armed with the Psycho Sword. This sinister assassin rules the Badland.
Easy.
He's got 2 swords. Which one's the Psycho Sword, huh? They both have the same hilt.
You're falling for layer 1 of the mix-up, bro. You gotta go deeper.
That is exactly why I picked it. I saw this guy, and I saw Psycho Sword capitalized, and I was like, well, that doesn't match what I'm looking at all. Because he's got 2 swords, and neither of them look very descriptive. So I'm going to guess maybe this card text was on a different card, and they reused it or something. It doesn't make much sense.
I mean,
anyway.
these kinds of like kerfuffles between card name and like identity and artwork, like that shit even happens in Magic as well. There's one card that's something or other Lemure, and a Lemure is a type of ghost, but the artist misunderstood, so they drew a lemur.
Oh, nice. That's funny.
Yeah, that shit happens in Magic too.
Yeah, and just so you know, the Psycho Sword isn't like, that's like not referenced anywhere else. That's not, it's just on this card. This is the only card that references the Psycho Sword.
For Dark Assailant only.
Yeah. All right. Here we have an orbular feller. Is this A, a crimson dragon that spits fireballs to create a blazing sea of fire? B, capable of firing cannonballs from its mouth for long-range attacks? This creature is particularly effective in mountain battles. Or C, this lesser beast expels powerful gusts of wind from its mouth to ward off predators.
You know, I'm thinking A.
The phrase lesser beast is speaking to me, so I'm going to say C.
All right. 1 for A, 1 for C. This is Tyhone number 2. This is a Crimson Dragon that spits fireballs to create a blazing sea of fire. Now, funnily enough, B is Tyhone number 1. I thought maybe I could trick you because Tyhone number 1 is just this guy, but like green instead of red.
See,
awesome.
I think I had this card whenever I was a kid, and like I could envision the Crimson Dragon in my mind.
Yeah, this is also a terrible card. What is this? 6 stars for 1700 attack? This is like the worst card I've ever seen.
Yeah, but look at it.
All right, here we have this.
Too busy looking at the numbers. You're not looking at the cool dragon.
It's true.
Crimson Dragon.
Is this weird thing A, a fiend who resides in the center of the universe and is said to be responsible for the Big Bang? B, made of mysterious metal, this monster is a doomsday machine from the edge of the universe? Or C, a harbinger of destruction from the darkest corner of space. It attacks without warning, erasing life wherever it goes.
I think this is a Labyrinth Shadow with a big eyeball.
Wow.
What are we thinking?
I'm locking in with B.
I think C.
All right, we got a B and a C. Who is it? This is Megasonic Eye, made of mysterious metal. This monster is a doomsday machine from the edge of the universe.
It's the phrase doomsday machine. One of them mentioned erasing life. I felt like that was too much. The other one referenced the Big Bang. I felt like that was too much. Doomsday machine, perfect.
I wrote both A and C, and I was cracking myself up with the concept of a Yu-Gi-Oh card that says it was responsible for the Big Bang. I was making myself
like
laugh.
That is totally something that they would be doing.
I know, that's why I was so happy that I thought of that. I was like, oh shit, that totally would be on a Yu-Gi-Oh card. There totally would be a Yu-Gi-Oh card that says that this random fucking level 5 1500 attack monster caused the Big Bang in the center of the universe.
Yeah.
All right, now we have a Seahorsey. Is it A, this monster wanders the sea, sucking dry any creatures it may encounter? B, a sea creature that can survive even in acid. Its body is filled with a corrosive substance that cuts through steel. Or C, a seahorse possessed by the spirit of a fiendish porcupine.
I'll go B.
Thinking B? What do you think, Log?
Fuck it, C.
C? B and a C? What's it going to be? What's it going to see? It's neither! It's Boneheimer! This monster wanders the sea, sucking dry any creatures it may encounter. You don't want to run into Boneheimer. He's gonna suck you dry. The dreadful Boneheimer. I can't believe they put sucking dry on a Yu-Gi-Oh card, to be honest. That's why I picked that one.
On a Boneheimer at that.
Exactly. Okay.
It's got them lips.
Check this guy out. But who is he? Is it A, the handle on this creature's head allows it to be used as an improvised weapon? B, your hopes and dreams will be refreshed if you catch a glimpse of this rare creature in the evening twilight, soaring in the sea of stars? Or C, the proudest of them all?
Well, it's not that one.
I feel like that belongs to another normal monster.
Well,
it's not A. It's not fucking A. It's not fucking A. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that they wrote that on a card.
You don't know that.
I mean, this could be little kettle bloast.
Well, what do you think? Neither of you have answered. Which one do you think it is?
I'm I'm thinking
hard about this
I'm
one.
observing the artwork. I don't trust like that. It's not A. This sucks. What the fuck? B.
You think
No.
this one's B?
No, I'm going with A. Fuck it. I'm following my gut.
Yeah, I want it to be A.
Are you both locking in
so
A?
bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
so
let's do
sorry.
A,
It is
please.
not A. It is White Dustin, who is the proudest of them all.
Fuck.
White Dustin.
You may not be surprised to know that I did add this one because his name is White Dustin, which I thought was very funny.
It's a pretty good one.
I did write A though. I'm glad that you both liked it. That's a point for me. I'm glad that you liked my description.
I wanted that to be the fucking flavor text so bad.
It would be really good. All right. How about this thing? Is it A, this fiend brings out the worst in everyone? B, enemies' hearts will melt at the sight of the small fairy's cuteness? Or C, it uses its magic key that it can unlock any door to cause mischief?
A.
Yeah, let's do A.
You think it's A? You think this fiend
Yep.
brings out the worst in everyone?
I think so.
Look
Well.
at that thing.
Whoops. This is Key Mace. Enemies' hearts will melt at the sight of this small fairy's cuteness. Now, I will say,
Wow.
A is the description of Key Mace number 2, who looks nearly
What?
identical to Key Mace number 1.
Yeah, this is like a they zigged and zagged on this shit. Like
Yeah.
this is Key Mace, who looks like a little prankster and doesn't even look that cute. Barely a fairy because there are no wings. And
Yeah, but creature type
we
fairy.
are.
Here's the thing, you can't...
Not a reptile.
That's why this is the world's most difficult game show.
Yeah, like,
because none
that's why
of it makes any
I swerved.
sense.
That's why I swerved for A. I thought like there's no way the key means anything.
Yeah, well, you
And
were
then-
right about that. I
I-
made C up. That's not from a card. A card. But you know. All right. Now we have whatever the fuck this thing is. Is this A, the result of a deranged scientist's forbidden experiments? Its only desire is to inflict the pain it feels on everything else. B, a massive steel ball that mows down anything in its path. Or C, a mechanical soldier created by a wicked sorcerer. It attacks with the 2 steel balls attached to its arms.
It looks like C. The more I look at it, the more the soldier takes form.
Nope, I'm going with B. That's a steel ball.
Alright.
I'm saying C.
All right, B and C. It is Giganto, a massive steel
Fuck
ball
yes.
that mows down anything in its path.
This game is
This
so
is
easy.
this is my new favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card ever because what is this?
Lesson
like
5.
what? This is like some
a
cow
massive steel
tools
ball.
shit. Like it's got a bottom ball part and like a plunger attached to a handle with an axe with spikes on it, and then 2 balls 3D arms that don't look like they're could possibly be attached to any part of it, with 2 steel balls at the end of that, and it's got like a tail cord coming out of the back and is emitting a evil green aura. This is the best Yu-Gi-Oh card ever printed. This is my new favorite art in Yu-Gi-Oh.
This shit is pretty crazy.
I love
And it's
Giganto.
it is not a steel ball.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it
not
is. Look
even
at it.
like, it doesn't even look like a steel ball at all. I don't know why that's there. And I also thought it was funny
Like Ball
because
Breaker.
I made up A, but C is another card. There just happens to be another robot card that has steel balls as hands. So I thought I could
Awesome.
trick you with that one. Is that the last one? Yeah, that's the last one. All right. That's the end of the
Oh,
game.
damn.
I was not keeping score, so whoever won,
won.
I'm sure Mira
congratulations.
won.
I got more right.
All right, congratulations, Mira. You have won the first and maybe last, potentially, episode of flavor testing.
No, that was good. Do it again.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it. I thought about doing it in the opposite direction, where I pick 3 pictures and have you guess the...
See, that's what I thought it was going to be at first.
I kind of want to do that one, but I started
seemed like
trying to
more
do
work.
it, and it's really hard.
Yeah. It's a lot more work to dig
yeah.
up the cards for that.
It's way easier if I just like make up some shit that sounds like it should be on a Yu-Gi-Oh card. That's actually extremely easy, which is why I was able to do like 10 of them.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
I kind of want to do the same thing. I kind of want to do this game, but for Magic.
Sure, I'm down. Always and forever.
Fuck yeah.
Though I think potentially, I don't know when we would get a chance to do this, but I know that Scorpion Balp have suggested interest in wanting to do a Marvel Snap Sucks or Fucks with me because I have never played Marvel Snap, but they have.
Oh wow.
So we might end up doing that one. But I don't know. We don't have a schedule. We just do this when I want to.
Yeah, maybe we can put out the feelers for every card game we can think of. I can start researching Flesh and Blood, and we can figure out what fucks and sucks in that game.
Eventually, you're gonna run out of card games that we play. I already have run out. Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh are the only two I know literally anything about whatsoever. So,
who's good in the One Piece trading card game? Do you even know, Log? Who's staples in that?
It's like the usual. It's the usual suspects. Like the good guys are usually like Sabos and Aces and like Katakuris and stuff like that. Like
I was hoping like wet hair Caribou.
Well, I mean, like those cards kind of like fill out the decks, but typically like it's the top end is like the big guys. There is a competitive Nami deck that centers around milling yourself out that plays shit like Hanger. Do you know who Hanger is?
Nope.
Is that the guy from Water 7 with the flag that's a sword? Or the sword that's a flag?
Isn't that Diamante?
No, that's a different guy.
Well, I don't know. Well, anyways, Hanger is a guy that basically looks like a butler, but his hair is shaped like a clothes hanger.
I'm looking this up. Oh my fucking god, you're right.
My friend ordered 800 copies of Hanger because they were 8 cents each.
Let me show. I don't have a picture of the card, but here's a picture of the guy. Trog.
All right.
He shows up once in Logtown.
Hold on. How do I fucking? I gotta put this stupid asshole on the screen.
Yeah, so that's playable in the Nami deck. That is pretty competitive.
Oh, come on.
That's dope.
There he is. Here's your parting gift from me. You can have this guy.
It's Hanger.
You can go behind the logo.
Oh, they had to ban Kabaji also.
That's good.
Oh, you're spoiling the episode.
For being too good. For being too good in the Nami deck, I think.
That's fucking good.
Well, that is the stream. Thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. I had fun.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I always enjoy these kind of card game things. I also had one other idea. Like, I would like to maybe try to expand the show to the point where we can maybe play some of the card games in some way that's like dumb and fun. So maybe some tabletop sim or something at some point. I'm very interested in playing like Judge Tower or whatever that is in Magic. That seems very
good luck.
Very goofy, very funny. I don't know if that's like if anybody here is good enough.
It could be a good way to onboard people onto card games that we don't really know anything about.
It's a good point.
Cool, like where we don't even like know the rules system.
We're like learning the rules as we're playing the game. But yeah, so maybe in the future, maybe Marvel Snap, maybe some actual playing of the card games instead of just talking about the cards. I'd love to do like a Yu-Gi-Oh draft because that's always just bad and stupid.
Whoa.
Like, because the game is not built for drafting, but you can kind of draft the old sets and like get something that isn't completely unplayable. So maybe that. But I'm totally losing my voice. Only last thing is, pay attention. Soon, we will be announcing a very important stream that will be occurring on Halloween at 6 p.m. Central and 7 p.m. Eastern. So keep your eyes to the skies and your ears to the beers and
yeah, man,
getting on and paying attention to specific Twitter feeds and Discords.
Watch
because
this space.
We will have more information soon. Sooner than you think. It'll be scary how soon it is. But yeah, that's it. Any parting words from the gallery, peanut gallery? Okay.
Bring back Shark Still. I'm sad that Standstill isn't good enough to be played anymore in Legacy. Also play Canadian Highlander.
They should bring back all the cards in Modern, because all of them are gone now.
Sad.
Well, ending on a dour note, but sometimes that's life. That's how life is. Thank you for watching. And remember to always keep a stiff upper lip. Bye-bye.